Let's go.
Okay, no, who's watching? I'm just gonna go over there. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. No intro, no Buster intro. Straight over there to the asylum.
The stage and shit? For real? I'm gonna take a piss. I'm gonna grab a beer.
Don't know what you're doing. They've got
All right, we got that ironed out. I just got to get a link for the asylum on both the videos essentially now at this point. And we are just there.
Yo, guys. I'm here.
Hey, what's going on,
Hey,
Bev?
what's up, Bev?
Welcome.
What up?
Hey, Bev, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it. Sin and Hammer is gonna be the MCs, the maestros here. They're gonna be controlling. What will happen?
I gotta
was
wake up, bro. Hold on.
Hold on. Slow down, Sin. One by one, Bev. We're gonna have people raise their hand, and then they could step up, have a conversation as long as you wanted it to be. Questions asked, questions answered. You could have debate, you could have discussion, but kind of keep it like controlled. We did a stage, so that way it's just not a dog pile. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right. I know you have a couple of topics yourself you want to discuss. What I was thinking was, how about you present the topic and then somebody raise their hand who wants to go at you about that topic? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah, well, that was the idea. I wanted to have a word with Flatside about his proof. So,
right.
If anybody wants to talk about that. Yeah, I know, but
Friday.
I don't just want to have a word with Flatside about it. It's just that I'd heard Flatside say that he had proof of flat Earth. So I thought, like, whoa, I'll have to have a conversation with that, because I obviously had a conversation with Nathan Oakley.
Right.
And
right. I hear you. Well, we could try to go ahead and I mean, we'll just start it off, very simply. If you want for the show, you want to introduce yourself, say a few words, and then with that, Hammer, you can control. I see SE Montreal with his hand up. Bring him up first, and then we'll go from there. Cool?
Yeah, cool. So you want me to have a go? Let me introduce. I'm Bev. Try thinking. I've been on a, let's say, 6-year run of trying.
I apologize, Bev, not to cut you off right there.
Go on.
I started just a couple minutes late on the timer, so there's just probably 5 more minutes, not even.
Oh, for the
actually going through. Yeah, I apologize, dude.
Okay.
So we just if we
let's
just chill
chat
for now.
about shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Chat. Yeah, that's cool. All right, you guys handle that. I'll be back. I'm gonna take this phone call here. I gotta make a phone call. I mean, yeah, I'm getting blowed up. I gotta call and go and chit chat up when the show starts. Hammer, handle it, and then let Bev introduce himself at the start of the show. Actually, luckily, it wasn't recording any of that because that was actually good.
What do you mean?
Meaning it wasn't recording like the audio of it, right?
Yeah, I got all the audio turned down.
Nah, that's right. We got to edit that. It's post production.
It's a 2-minute countdown, 6 seconds.
All right,
and then there's there's 2 more intros. There's the refractive philosophy intro, which is a minute, and then there's another minute long or so intro for Asylum, and then we'll be good to go.
I am excited.
Wow.
All right, and you do the welcoming. I'm gonna hit my mute button. I'll listen to it on YouTube. You guys have a good show, and thank you, Bev, for coming. Cool. Appreciate it, and for everybody that participates, thank you. And yeah, that'll be cool. All right, guys.
Sweet. So you're doing a lot of these sort of events and stuff, is that what this channel's about? Oh, everybody's doing the warm-ups.
They're getting it going, Bev, bro. That shit's popping off. You're on board, right?
I'm here. I know what you mean on board.
We've added you to the catalog. You got Mark Sargent, you got Jaron, we got Bev now.
Did you get Dave Weiss?
Oh yeah, we got him too.
Has he been?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Did you think you'll get Nathan Oakley over?
Oh, we got him too.
Nathan was over here.
Oh,
They're
yeah, he
coming
came
at-
with Jaron, didn't he?
Oh
With old
yeah.
Jaron. He did.
We had a conversation with Jaron the other day.
How'd that go?
Same way as it always does. People
Was
don't
it
like
work-
seeing contradictions.
Was it organized? You guys get it organized or anything?
What do you mean organised? No, we just have
Like,
conversations. That's all we ever do.
Yeah, was it productive? You get a productive thing going?
Well, I think we learned quite a fair bit.
Yeah, well, that's the objective there.
You think you get Dell over? Do you think? Well, like what's the idea of this place then? Like you just get people over to have chats, or do you think that the actual debate thing's going to take off?
Yeah, I'm pretty much. I mean, I don't really want to. I think debating is more like an individualistic kind of a thing. So if we really want to try to like build a community, we need to figure out how to come together, sort of. On
I
like,
think we need to get you
one-
guys on
one
record.
sort of. I don't know. I
Now,
don't
there's a couple people in this community.
We're all
that we
gonna
should
have
just get on
differences.
record. Like we got.
We're about to start though, so
Okay.
I know you're
I'm
just
not gonna
waking
take
up.
much part
Get
of
your
it, but-
sauce. Get your sauce going, Sin. Here
Ah,
we go.
no. I need to take a step back.
Here we go, boys. You ready?
You lead.
See if I can figure out my levels here. Welcome everybody to the original Discord Asylum YouTube channel, Refractive Philosophy. We're in the Discord, the Asylum. Links in the bottom. Come check us out. We're live here with Mr. Bev. Try thinking himself from. It's on the level, right? Discord server.
Absolutely.
On the level Discord server, we welcome him to the show. Welcome, sir.
Good day. Good day.
And
Well,
we look forward to a interesting conversation happening this evening. Go ahead. Sorry if I cut you off there.
No problem. I'm Bev, obviously. I've been on about a 6-year study of people. Mainly, it started off in trolls on the internet, but the journeys led me to realise that modern day life has led people into holding contradictions that they don't really know that they hold, and some people even try and justify these contradictions. That's what we're doing now. The training and the whatever's been dealt with, and the conversations that we've been having over these 6 or whatever years. Obviously, I've been misrepresented by a lot of people that don't like finding out about their own contradictions. So they've misrepresented me to be, I don't know, whatever people imagine that I am. So here we are. Now's the time for us to actually let people know about what we do and how we do it. People tend to think that I'm antagonizing people or whatever, but I'm just not. I'm just a person without a model in a place, an arena where people are obsessed about models. I'd also say as well, I don't think there ever can be any debate to be had within this arena, because there's no arguments to be made. There's no proof of flat Earth and there's no proof of globe Earth. In order for you to have a proof, you need to be able to build an argument. And if there's no proof, there's no arguments, and that will be shown by the fact that people don't have arguments. There's only arguments and proofs within reality. Unfortunately, there's no proof for flat Earth and there's no proof for globe Earth, which puts proof outside the realm of these two things, and people are obsessed about models. So, yeah, bring on the conversation. Let's see where
Yes,
we
sir.
go.
Model afflicted, I think, as you've put it
Yeah,
so
yeah.
eloquently
Model
before.
afflicted. That's a Bev term. Yep.
So yeah, we welcome anybody that would like to join the conversation about any topics that are brought forward. They can come to the stage, simply raise your hand, and we can have a conversation.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I'm pretty excited for this. Bev is one of those like mainstays, say flat Earth, say globes. People can't put them in a box, so they try to figure it out. But I kind of want this dude on record because for some reason he's been able to find his own way on a lot of this stuff. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to take a shot, right, at the champ.
And it's interesting, Bev, because you were asking right before we went live, like, what's the purpose of this channel? And kind of in your intro there, I think you're speaking to it a little bit, because I envision you hear people all the time talk about, oh, they're comfortable in this place or that place. You get kind of like a home field advantage when you build your Discord server and you have all the mute power, quote unquote, or whatever. So to be able to bring people, quote unquote, out of their element and be able to like have a conversation where it kind of brings more of the realness to it, back to it a little bit, right? Versus where they're just comfortable hanging out per se. I'm not saying that's you necessarily, but that's like the stigma that gets put out there if you become, if you have a Discord server or whatever, that a lot of people are hanging out a lot of time.
Yeah, well, I mean, anybody's free to come over. Quite a lot of people have already been over. They've come and had a chat, and they don't really like it. Let's put it that way. The type of conversations we have are they're in a different place than the usual scripted stuff, I call it, from the flat Earth and the globe Earth. We're definitely not within that realm. We try and talk about reality. And when people do come in to have a chat, they're more often than not part of this shape arena. And, well, we deal with shape geometrically. And that's where you get proof. It's unfortunate that the shape debate can't access geometry and use the proofs of geometry.
So like tonight, Bev, it was supposed to have been you and Flatzoid. What was that like? How did you imagine that playing out? You and Flatzoid, like you guys, what were you guys going to debate? Proof? Like what was...
No, I say like no. There's no debate in proof, is there? But
No,
I think we watched a debate with. I think that was actually a type of debate with Flatzoid and JC 23 the other day. JC had the no, I think Flatzoid was taking the stationary stance and JC was questioning. And in that debate, Flatzoid said that he has scientific proof of the flat Earth. But we just listened to Nathan Oakley say that it's not scientific. So they're at odds. There's these call it leaders of the flat Earth. We'd listened to QE recently asking flat earthers what are they gonna do about things. Well, Flatzoid says he's got scientific proof of flat Earth, and Nathan Oakley says that when he talks about flat Earth proof, he's not talking about scientific proof or mathematical proof. So that's the discussion that's going to go out here, obviously, is there's a group of people that say that there is no proof, i.e. Jaren. And then there's a group of people that say that there is proof, Nathan Oakley. But Nathan Oakley doesn't have proof of the flat earth. But the flat earth is natural, supposedly. So the science should be a natural science. That's where proof exists, or it should do.
So you're asking, like, where's the science? Where's the science?
Well, I know where the science is. I'm just pointing out to people that in a realm that everybody states there is no proof. Well, there is, because in reality. So if they're saying that there is no proof, they're putting their proof-giving system outside of the bounds of reality. So that should tell you quite a lot.
Bev, you approach this from like I don't know if it's a geometric. You have like I think of it as like a geometric understanding. Is that like kind of right? Like,
I would
what
say,
do you call your axioms, or what? How would you say you look at it?
just from the basics of logic, well, yeah, logic. Geometric logic leads to the geometry, and logic also leads to the science, and logic leads to the mathematics.
So if say we have like a flat earther doesn't know stuff, say we got a glober doesn't really know that much more. Like, what would you mean by like a geometric axiomatic proof? Like, what does that mean? Like,
Well, what I'd say first off, and then the first thing I'd say to most people would be the laws of logic. I call them the laws of communication. The law of identity, the law of the excluded middle, and the law of non-contradiction, and sufficient reason, sufficient cause. But forget about that. Just the three, right? The most important one is the law of non-contradiction. Now that is within mathematics. You can't contradict yourself, otherwise you'd never be able to get to mathematical proofs. That law of non-contradiction I take into reality with me. I'd state there are no contradictions in reality, and there are no paradoxes in reality. It's just a puzzle for you to solve. I find that if I do find contradictions and I point those out to people, then some people get upset about those contradictions. They want to tell me they're not contradictions.
yeah, they don't like your outcomes. They say, "How did you get that? What's that about?" But
It's
it
just
seems
it's
like
a
you're
straw man.
building on a foundation. Yeah, you're building on a foundation of this, therefore this also must make sense, right? Like, your frameworks hold logical stuff, whereas I feel like these guys are more rhetorical somehow. I don't know.
The rhetoric's just the way that you express the grammar and the logic. And now some people can call it trick people through rhetoric, but you'd have to not have the logical understanding to be tricked by people. If you've got a good basis of logic to be able to understand that, then you can see when you're being tricked. Hopefully. And with a few people around you that you can sort of help you point out these things, you can build on that and eventually get rid of contradictions. Most of the time, people they're not aware of the contradictions that exist.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They have no clue. What would have like, hypothetically at this point, I guess, since unfortunately Flatzoid isn't here, what would you have told Flatzoid about proof and logic that he may or may not have, figured it out? Like,
Well, I don't know. That's the whole point. He says he has proof of flat Earth, scientific proof of flat Earth. He was saying to JC, "Do you want me to show you?" So I would just like to understand what other people's ideas of proof are. And I know, like, it's a hard conversation to have, because initially nobody's got a clue about what proof is. So it's going to take a while of development to bring these conversations out for people to understand what proof is to them, how you acquire it.
I like that. I like that.
I have
It's kind of it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, go on.
No. It is kind of refreshing to see where people, where are they at in this whole discussion. Bev, you're one of the guys that I feel like everybody should know. Or if they don't know, you should be reminded. Like, let me lay it out for you. That's kind of what Bev does. He lays it out. Like, here's where I'm coming from. I do kind of want to know where Flatzoid or anybody.
Did he
You could lay it out
decline?
for me. I would love it. I would enjoy to see where you're coming from. And Bev does that. He's always ever done that. So
Did
I
he
appreciate
decline
that.
speaking to you, Bev? Sorry to step on you, son.
No, it's good.
Well, I don't know. As far as I know, like he didn't want to come and do it. He wanted to put it off, wanted to bring it forwards, and then he had a power cut scheduled.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna. Well, I saw some messages, and I was gonna speculate or kind of say maybe. I know he's got some power issues over there, so I don't know if it's just too late for him that he couldn't make it.
Initially,
okay.
I was offered Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I said, "Well, Friday will do, because I go live. Well, let's just do it then." And Flatsoy said, "No, let's do it on Saturday, UFC night. So we'll wait till UFC's over." And then he wanted to do it a little bit earlier, and I said, "Well, no, let's do it at 11 after the UFC." And here we are, and here he isn't.
Let me just say this. For anybody who doesn't really know who Bev is, I'll give you a little bit of background. This guy's been out here for a long time. He's one of the OGs in every sort of sense of the word. He's probably before you. Anybody listening, he's probably way before you. So you guys should be jumping at the shot to take a chance to pick this man's brain, because he was before a lot of you guys, and if you don't appreciate his contribution, I think you're ignorant, because a lot of this flat Earth, whatever you want to call it, has been formulated by a lot of these people who have thought about it, and Bev was one of the original OGs to think about this stuff in different ways that are not just one way or the other. We appreciate the variety of a lot of this stuff, and Bev has offered us a lot of different insight into different ways of looking at it. And if you don't have a question, if you got no appreciation for this, it's because you're probably not smart enough to even think about how to look at this stuff. So I'm kind of personally happy that we got you on here, Bev. Like I said, I think you're one of the mainstays in this conversation, and I don't know if people really even know that. That's so weird to me. It's like Bev is like an OG. Like so I mean, I'm where are the Globers? Where are the flat Earth? Like
They
you've
won't,
had
they
like
won't come. I'm telling you, nobody really wants to have the conversations that we have. Are I think deemed disruptive for this community, because we have the ability to point out contradictions in people, and they don't want to look at them. They want to continue on with the circular conversations, not addressing each other's contradictions and making allowances for them.
Well, you make it simple. The thing about Bev is he likes to make it real simple. He likes to get it isolated into the logic.
We call it advanced simplicity.
Advanced simplicity. That's okay. Well, that's one way of saying it, but you like you call it like it's an axiomatic thing. I don't know if that's too simplistic, but I want to put this on record because this is Bev. This is what he does, you know.
We just literally do it as simple as possible. The advanced simplicity is to break things down to their individual component parts so everybody can understand where you're starting from, and then build up from there.
Yeah, no, we're gonna definitely get you on record. Here's the thing. I have always liked to think that Bev is like a mainstay in this community, whether you call it flat Earth, whatever. But like, dude, like, I don't know if anybody even realized, dude, we got you on record now because this guy is like a real deal OG guy. And maybe these people don't understand what questions they should ask, but oh my God, this is a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of history right before their eyes. And I don't know if many people appreciate that, but anybody who wants to ask a question,
Maybe I'm abusing the YouTube chat. Let me check that out. Sorry.
no, I think it's a real opportunity for a lot of people to so Bev, you're saying you're okay with people like shooting the shit with you? That you're okay with them coming up and asking you
Yeah,
some
yeah,
stuff?
that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Hey, well,
Answering
let's get them
questions.
going. Anybody who wants to raise their hand and talk with the Bev, this is the boy, this is the guy. He's been here before you, and he's been doing it for a long time. We got Lauren, what's his name? Lauren Coe.
Lori wants to come up here
All
and
right,
chat
bring
with
him
you.
up, bring him up. Hey, we can kick him off anytime. We don't have to talk to this guy, but
Ladies and gentlemen,
I
please
want it. I do
welcome.
want it on record though, because we have an opportunity to talk with somebody who actually knows something. So, Lauren, what do you think about Bev? What's your opinion? What's your take? Ask him anything. Okay, you're sounding like CGI. Okay, try again one more time.
Wow.
Sounded like an AI.
This is what we get, Bev.
Yeah, I know. See, voice changer, you've got it set to what, vibrating rulers on the fucking side of a desk or something. I don't know. Laurie, come on.
Come on,
Yeah.
Lori, shoot your shot. You sound like okay.
That's not working. That's not Discord, is it?
That ain't it,
That's
Chief.
not
That is
Discord.
not it, Chief.
Discord's better than that.
Maybe he's just too low. Yeah, he's coming through as a robot.
I say kick him off. Kick him off and let him try again later.
Yeah.
We don't have to
Sorry,
waste our time with
Lori.
this. This is garbage. Hey, Lori, you figure out how to work the internet and you come back and talk to us, okay? Because, dude, if you guys don't understand, there's a lot of capable understanding within this conversation. So if you want to talk with Bev, let's not waste our time here.
How about this, right? I was brought into this arena mainly because I was looking for trolls and how to trigger people and who got triggered the most, so I could teach my son. But the big moment for me was when Fight the Flat Earth, Sly Sparkane, Jesse Kozlowski,
Yeah.
Cosmo, all of those people started calling me child abuser. Right now, they did that.
No, let's correct that. That's
Well, yeah, I
wrong.
forget about it because it's led me here, and I've learned a lot. I'd say thank you to those people for doing that, because I think there's a lot of people that come into this arena because of people like that, and there's also a lot of people that get put off because of people like that. So having the ability to talk about those sort of things is what I'm here for, right? I'm the voice of those people that get told, stupid things from certain groups of people. They want to put off conversations that we should be having. So if there's anybody out there like that have come in to this arena, right, and been put down, obviously you always get put down. Nathan Oakley, QE, Arwin, Flatsoid even, right? There are people that tell you that you shouldn't be around here, right? Get out of this group. Stop saying that. Stop doing that. Well, that's not what we're here for. We're here for the conversation.
Well, Bev, dude, I promise you this one. This one's a freebie. This is like I have wanted to get you on record. You're not like I want you presented in the way that you are. Like I think you've done so much for this community individually. Nobody's ever been able to accomplish your kind of view on this, and I really want this on record because Asylum has been able to. We got Mark Sargent, we got David Weiss, we got Nathan Oakley, we got Jaron, we got
Okay, here we go, boys. I'm
FTFE,
sorry.
We need to get Bev on here, but hold on, Hammer, you see Incarnation?
I see him.
Incarnation, welcome
Here
up to
he
the stage,
comes.
brother.
Good
Go ahead,
day.
Hammer.
Don't tell me. There is something weird going on with this
Okay.
channel,
Well,
I
Hammer,
think,
listen.
and the audio issues, bro. I tell you what. Can you
That's
hear
all
us,
right, that's all right.
Incarnation? Are you there?
Incarnation 613. You here?
Lost one. This is lost 3. Are you lost 2? Over.
Can we get a mic check?
He's normally a little bit shy.
We got to make sure your mic works, bro. He wants to take a shot at the champ. Incarnation. Lord.
He's gone. He's gone.
Raise your hand again. We'll do it again.
Let's see if Turtle can speak.
There you
Turtle's here.
No, get rid of Turtle. Get rid of Turtle. Bring up
I'm trying to get Incarnation.
Incarnation is here. Incarnation. Can we get a mic check? Come on. Say something or we're gonna kick your ass out of here.
Well, at least Turtle
Say
can
something,
speak.
Incarnation. A lot of these guys, they're all confident when they can talk shit. I don't want to say that. That's probably offensive. A lot of these guys, Bev, want to be all sort of confident, but when it
I know.
actually comes to them finding their voice and saying something, now they get all sort of quiet. And Incarnation, if we can get a mic check, brother. Come on. Find your voice.
They get shy, I think.
That's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. You guys don't know who you're talking to, unfortunately. This is an opportunity for you guys to actually engage with Bev. And
They've
you
already
guys are
done
all
it,
sorta
though.
Weird.
Literally everybody in this arena I've talked to her. The only person I haven't really talked to is Mark Sargent and Whitsit. I think I've talked to everybody else. That's
No,
what I'm going on a mission now, to try and find out who are the people that can talk.
Well, you're looking good because you're staying there, and these guys have nothing to say. So, yeah. Well, if you can, here's the thing: we can't even get people to come in and actually, combat you on anything. So, what does that say?
So the arguments must stand then, right? My arguments.
We might have to Bev, check me out. We might have to actually wait here for a minute. Come on, APOC, send everyone. Listen, dude, these guys are coming at us all the
So
time.
here's our Incarnation again. Sorry. If you have an iPhone, apparently you may have to unplug it if you're charging it.
Get your
or
shit in order,
restart
guys.
it. Do something.
Mic check.
Here he is.
There you are. Come on.
There we go. Thanks, APOC. You told me you said to restart your phone and it worked earlier. That's what I did.
All right,
All right.
Incarnation. Do you have any sort of thing you want to hash out with Bev here?
Yeah. First of all, what's up, Bev?
What up?
How are things?
Cool. Going good.
Right on. All right. So you said earlier it's definitely not flat, and it's definitely not a globe.
We've got
But you deal in
arguments
geometry, which is the mathematics of distances and shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
So if your whole shtick is dealing with geometry, surely using that kind of math, you can get a general idea of the reality in which you live in. So given your vast expertise on this, if it's definitely not flat and definitely not a globe, you have an idea of what it is.
well, geometrically, the straight line, the Euclidean principles apply to reality. Now you can go outside, right, and have a look, and there will be no shape described in geometry that you can describe what you see as. So there's no way of you describing what you see by a shape other than the fact like there's a car, there's a bush, there's a tree, there's a house, there's a hill, right? There's a horizon. Yeah, that's how you can describe things. You can't put a shape to a whole if you can't know the whole. That's where I come from.
Incarnation, are you familiar with are you familiar with anything that Bev has been banging this drum for a while. Are you familiar with any of his like
Yeah, of course I am. Of course I am.
Okay. Well, he's kind of like a little bit of a mainstay in a lot of this stuff. Like,
I would call him more of a fence sitter, but you know.
Okay. Well, let's flesh that out with him. Let's see what does that mean?
Well,
I think it means that I don't hold contradictions, right? Whereas, you model afflicted people hold contradictions.
Well, you can say that.
Yes, Bev says
you can
that.
say that you have a model
afflicted, bro.
You could say, Bev, that you have a model of your own. I mean, you have your own ideas of reality that shape your ideas. It's your own model. So really, you have a model. It's just your own spin on it, your own way to look at reality. It's your model.
Well, Euclidean principles, right? Realizing Euclid, one of the things that we do.
Yes, Bev, I know you're a big fan of Euclid, and I know you're not a fan at all of non-Euclidean geometry, which I really don't understand why, but there is a geometry dedicated to measuring things that are not necessarily flat per se, and we use it.
Yeah, but Euclidean geometry is the basis that a straight line has no curvature to it. That's Euclidean, right?
Right, and then in non-Euclidean geometry, straight line can be on a curved surface. So it's just you're very narrow.
That would be a contradiction, wouldn't it, for having a straight line to be both straight and curved? That there is a contradiction there.
Well, no, because you're speaking in different contexts. So one context is in Euclidean math, and the other context is in non-Euclidean math. So really, it doesn't necessarily matter. It just really depends in which context you're speaking. It's not a contradiction.
We're talking about in reality, and we're talking about Euclidean principles to apply in reality.
Listen, in reality, I can grab a sphere or an object that has a curved surface and use a set of math to make measurements on the surface of said object in reality. So there is a math in reality where straight lines are on a curved surface.
No, that's Euclidean. You get a sphere. That sphere is Euclidean. You do trigonometry on that sphere, that spherical trigonometry. That's Euclidean.
Yeah. Okay. So hold on. Slow down, you guys. You guys are being way too.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, okay. So hold on. They say straight lines in non-Euclidean. They say straight lines in Euclidean. Like, what does that mean for people who have? You guys are pretty advanced. Incarnation.
It's not. This isn't advanced, right? This is really simple.
I promise, Bev. A lot of people have no idea.
I know. Yeah, I know. But so I'll try and give you the simplest we can.
Break it down for us, and then right. If you could.
You know what a square is, and a triangle, and a circle, because those are Euclidean shapes. They are on. They're classed as two-dimensional shapes. So that gives you the understanding already that you know what a triangle is, a square is, and a circle. They are Euclidean. Obviously, spheres and cubes and boxes and balls, all of those sort of things are developments into the third dimension of those Euclidean principles, right? Now, all of those shapes couldn't occur without straight lines being the straight lines that you know, right? You with us?
So far, so good.
Okay, now, imagine not that, right? Not Euclidean. And that's where other people go to, right? They just say non-Euclidean, and non-Euclidean just means not Euclidean. So imagine a square and then imagine not a square. And then you're
Okay,
dealing
so
in
Bev,
non-Euclidean
I'll
geometry.
change my word. So let me retort here. I'll change my wording to, instead of using non-Euclidean geometry, which encompasses all the geometries that are not Euclidean, we'll go specifically to the one that makes measurements on the surface of a curved object, which will be spherical geometry. So that is a geometry in which a set of math that exists in reality, that we use in reality, where straight lines are on a curved surface.
Oh my goodness. Bev, okay, you got to deal with this, Bev, because I hear this all the time. Like,
Yeah, I know this is
yeah.
never going to end, right? If, like you say, straight lines are different, what happens to the straight lines that everybody knows already, the ones that do exist in reality? The triangles and the squares, and for trigonometry, for pi. What happens to those?
People who will apply the right context to the words that they use will know that there's a difference in the context in which they use said words. So in the context of spherical geometry, straight lines are on a curved surface. In the context of Euclidean geometry, straight lines are on what we consider a horizontal or just straight lines.
Okay, so like if we get a tool called a level in reality, and we establish 2 points of equal altitude, then that would be a straight line between the two. Altitude. Elevations on the ground. We're talking about altitude. Always levels are above the ground. Therefore, you are setting a state of equal altitude. Now, if you have a water level, you have 2 points. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Now, is that the straight line that everybody knows? Or do you have a different idea of straight lines in reality?
So again, in the context of spherical geometry.
Not in the context of reality. And this question
this is the context of reality, Bev. I'm speaking in reality. I'm speaking of math, a well-defined math that exists in reality that humans use on a daily basis.
Good.
In that math, straight lines are curved. So if you are going to apply that math to anything in reality, then those lines will be curved.
Did you just say straight lines are curved as though it was nothing? Because they're not. Straight lines are defined as not curved. Zero.
Yeah, where did you get that from? Where did you get that from, Micronation? He is lagging a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You see the way that that sort of came out of his mouth? He just said it.
Well, okay, we're trying to figure out the volumes and the levels, and we're dealing with lag probably. But like you said something, we can't just blame on lag. You said, see, here's the thing they don't understand, Bev, is that you're working from a framework. Your shit is established. You're working from a foundation, right?
Well, just logical understanding. I mean, the straight line is one of the basic concepts, isn't it? If you don't have a straight line being straight, well, you've got no triangles. There's no squares. You've got no pi because you can't have a relationship of the diameter to the circumference. It just doesn't work if straight isn't straight. Yet you've got people fantasizing about straight lines not being straight.
I love it. I love it.
And while Encarnacion catches up on the lag there, we had another person raise their hand. What's up? Please welcome to the stage.
What's up? I would like to request that you be absolutely gentlemanly. So let's hear it.
I always try to be, and I would like.
Let's hear it.
Sure, no problem there, but I always try to be, especially in voice chat, and I would like to work.
Well, real quick, what do you got for Bev
server.
here? Real quick.
What do I got to Bev? I only have my work coming to him right now, and I'm trying to listening on the topic at hand right now.
All right. Specifically, though, what do you got, though? specifically.
Oh, did he finish his latest topic, or would you like to say something else, Bev? Because I'm not sure if you finished.
What, the straight line? I think the straight lines speak for themselves. Yeah, that was.
No,
I don't know what he was talking about. Straight lines
okay, so
aren't
it's
curved.
not
If
a problem.
anybody thinks that they should listen to Incarnation and telling you that in reality straight lines are curved, they're not.
Yeah, I don't. I see. Here's the thing. I didn't know what he was talking about, but it's like, Bev, if I listen to you, this shit is established. It seems pretty well established on your part that you're not coming from nowhere. You're coming from an understanding that is grounded. And these guys are trying to figure this out. So, what's up? What's up?
What's up? So the problem with that kind of claim is that in itself it doesn't mean much, right? Because yeah, straight line is straight, like it's flat, and it's the
It's not. It's
shortest
straight.
distance in
It's
between
not.
2
Flat
points.
isn't geometric. Don't give yourself away.
Yeah, but I'm just generally and vaguely talking about how people usually refer to such a word. Okay. What I also want to point out is that by saying that, and by defining it through mathematics and then trying to explain what that means, you are not achieving proving your test or proving anything regarding reality.
So says you. What do you have to bring to the table? Anybody
Leave
can
it.
criticize something. Like I think that's kind of weak. What's up? Because listen, here's the thing. I've been around here for a while. Anybody can talk shit, man. Like literally anybody.
Exactly.
So I hope you're not just talking shit. I hope you can offer something to Bev that would challenge him, because he's been around for a long time, and I don't think you're gonna challenge him on nothing personally, but formulate it in a way that he would, bother addressing it.
Yeah, what is his straight line segment test is about?
Well, I'm writing it up at the minute, so that'll be coming out. It's called Realising Euclid, and it's about being able to prove Euclidean principles in reality. Start off at base 1, proposition 1, book 11. Straight line lies within a plane. That's what the Realising Euclid test is, and we've already done it. I'm happy. I've proved Euclidean principles in reality on a
Where do you have
budget
planes
test.
in reality?
There are tools. They're called levels, and they establish horizontal planes of reference. I mean, you can say that they don't exist if you want to, but there are tools that establish horizontal planes of reference. So
Yeah.
I would offer that up as evidence of the planes existing in reality. There being tools that establish horizontal planes.
They are establishing an arbitrary plane, aren't they? So where can we actually physically or in any way within reality see them or sense them?
Sense them.
Is there, let me phrase this another way. Is there any other device that would show us that the first device's arbitrary plane exists?
There are many different tools called levels that do that job. There's also plumb bobs. Have you seen them? They're pretty simple tools, and multiples of those can give you a vertical plane too. You can check one with the other.
Rotating vertical plane, or what do you mean? Because a plumb bob in
rotating.
reality is yeah, there is no real like you have a plane, buddy, when you are talking about
you can
the
put
level.
2, can't you?
Because that's what you were doing. So when you establish a level,
place 2.
you are talking about a plane. So I'm asking, what is the device that actually shows that in the first place? And the second is, what is your reference to?
A level.
For
right?
that
A
device
level,
to be
the
correct.
tool for establishing horizontal planes in reality is called a level? So that's the first part of your question, right? There's a tool called a level that establishes a horizontal plane.
Is establishing its own plane.
Yes, that's why they are tools called
So
levels.
how do you test with another device if that first device's arbitrary plane is actually there and it's actually a plane?
Well, you can calibrate these tools, right?
Or themselves, yeah.
Yes, calibrate them to make sure that they do, in fact, establish a horizontal plane of reference.
Yeah, what's
But
up? Do you have
as-
anything challenging, like in the sense that we can all see that? Listen, we're trying to figure out, you know, we're not even really trying to figure it out. Bev has been around for a long time. What's up? And we want to try to
Yeah, we know.
explicitly show people why. If you're just gonna nitpick, like, do you have anything good? Like, what do you have against them?
Your question doesn't make any sense.
Seems
because
to
we
be,
talked
like,
about
are
We can
you
kick you off of
saying-
we can kick you off the stage and we can get somebody else.
niche
bro.
part,
Not a
Are
big
you
deal.
saying
part
that
of
the-
geometry.
there is no horizontal plane? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying
In
that
reality,
level, the
there
tool?
aren't any planes. Yeah.
Okay. What about in reality, the tool? What does the tool, the level, do in reality?
Supposedly up to a certain distance, it could give you what is the elevation from one point to another.
Okay. And you wouldn't say that's an equal elevation, right? With no slope.
The equal elevation measured supposedly from the same kind of base elevation.
With no slope.
If the tools are set correct, then yeah.
And then we would call that horizontal, right? A straight line or plane with zero slope in any direction is called a horizontal plane.
Within mathematics,
perpendicular-
within geometry, it is called it is called that, yeah.
Mhm. No, well, in geometry doesn't have horizontal. Like, horizontal is a reality term that's used in
Within
reality for the
geometry, you can-
foundations of most things, buildings and the like.
Within geometry, you can draw up systems in which you can determine what is vertical and what is horizontal.
Yeah, you can have an
So,
elevation
but that's-
profile and a plan. Like all construction industry, architecture has the plans, the blueprints.
They're confusing the two.
I'm not
Hold on.
confusing
What's
anything.
up?
Confusing the two.
What's up? What's your main criticism of Bev? Like, you're coming at him like you got some sort of challenge. What is that?
We are talking through it. If you don't cut in, you will see.
No, I'm seeing
come
it.
on, make
but I'm
your
like,
point.
dude,
We've
I feel
been
like a lot of
round and
this is
round
kind of
this.
unfair. It's not right.
Whatever. We've been around this over and over and over again. I say a
Exactly.
horizontal plane can be established in reality. We use the test that uses these tools to prove that a straight line lies within a plane. What's your problem with it?
How do you check it if it's an actual plane as described within geometry?
We use a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference. Now, do you agree or do you disagree that a level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference?
As the definition for such devices, like all around. That's the definition. I'm asking, how do you check for it?
Using geometric principles. Like, have you seen the test? Were you there when we actually did the test?
I have.
Right, so you know how we use a shared straight line segment. You know that.
You're trying to show that through a camera which has lenses, which has curved
No.
surfaces.
Don't you
therefore
appreciate
cannot be
the
proving
work?
anything.
What?
Come
No,
on.
no. You obviously don't understand the test, which is fine. It gives us plenty of chance to hopefully explain it to other people.
Okay, so Bev, please. What's up? What's up? We're gonna maybe put you on mute because Bev, please, dude,
No
listen.
problem.
You've done real experiments, right?
Well,
You've
we've
done
done
this
tests.
test
Mm.
maybe way better than how I worded it. Test. Can you because people don't understand. I want this on record. People don't understand what you're doing, Bev. What are you up to with that test? What is that about? Like, what's up, please? You can react afterwards, but I really want to put this on record. Bev has been up to no good, and he's been able to test it. What have you been doing?
Well, we've got a test that uses all of the principles of Euclidean geometry within reality. So we use a tool that establishes a horizontal plane, and we use the geometric principles of a shared straight line segment, place that in the center of two tools that establish a horizontal plane. So you can show that no two straight lines can share a common sector, meaning that if two straight lines share a common part, it becomes one straight line.
What
Right.
what are the what are the implications of that?
Well, the implications means that Euclidean principles with the Euclidean geometry, it's one of those stupid things, right? That Fight the Flat Earth challenged me to prove that level was horizontal. Well, that seems a bit silly, but that you can prove things in reality. And half of the battle that we've had is because I was challenged to do that and I accepted that challenge, people have been calling me a flat earther. Well, I'm not a flat earther, but I can prove that level is horizontal. Like in reality, I know because I've done surveying training and how to measure elevation changes. So I actually know how to do that. And we've gone out there with these tools to show the principles of how they work. We've tried to link that to the Euclidean geometric principles to give away a proof-giving system to prove these things. So we use the propositions within Euclid, which are the proofs, and relate those to reality to prove, obviously, that reality, we're just doing geometric mathematical things in reality to give people the understanding of what a proof is.
Yeah, you kind of do like a lot of proof of concept stuff. Like your understanding is demonstrated. Like, and it's simple. It's not like it's like a whole geometric equation. Like you go out, you have a concept, you demonstrate what you're talking about, and how could anybody criticize that?
Well, they do. But I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's the
mean
part where I
anything, though,
can't
really,
connect it.
'cause maybe they're
Like,
just
well,
jealous
how
of
how
us
can you
having
criticize
proof.
someone that's actually going out there and showing exactly what we're talking? Like, you kind of frame the conversation in a way that's like, dude, this is what we're talking about. Look at this. You seen this? Like, and people think we're dealing with like some sort of esoteric, philosophy, but no, we're dealing with reality. Like, you go out in the real world, you show this stuff for real, and you connect it to the logic. Uh, People say thanks. Okay, so I'm sure, as have you heard, they say thanks Bev for showing us angles. Uh, what's your whole take on that? Like, the criticism, you know what they say. What's your whole reaction to that stuff?
And their overreaction should let everybody know what's going on, but it doesn't. What it does is it puts a louder voice out to the community, and they know. It's like call it a dog whistle, if you will, for other people to know what they shouldn't talk about. Because you try and talk about any of these stuff in any of these rooms, and you'll get shut down. They'll be saying, "Oh, you're a bevtard," or whatever, right? In order to shut down the conversation. that's what we are doing here, is just pointing out to people. I'm like a beacon, let's say, so everyone can see how you get treated when you talk about things that aren't for this arena. If you talk about reality and proofs and logic, it's not for this arena. You will get shut down by either. It doesn't really matter. People like Fight the Flat Earth, people like Incarnation. There's loads of them. And now it seems like by people like Nathan Oakley.
Well, I'll tell you this for sure, Bev. We've had a lot of people coming out of the woodwork lately because it's like, dude, there are certain voices in this community that have been a lot of light for a lot of people. Nathan is an example. Jaren, another. Fight the Flat Earth, MC Tune. These guys are like guideposts for a lot of these people, and I don't think people know who you are in this same sense because, like, if you're not working from a framework, where are you coming? Where are you coming at? Or what is that about? Like, if you don't have a foundation of logic, if you don't have a basis of understanding, what is that? That's kind of why I want to get this shit on record. Sorry for the language, but like, a lot of these guys, you don't know where they come from, and you don't know what their motive. But with Bev, he kind of lays it out in the senses: here's where I'm coming from. Here's what I'm doing. Like it or love it or leave it. And I appreciate that. I think that's it's good for everybody.
Well,
Did
Is
we
that
finish?
kind of where you're coming from? You like to lay it out. You like to show this is what I'm about. Here we go. Take it or leave it.
well, we've moved on from once you realize, right, that you're dealing with somebody who holds contradictions, you understand that you can't really converse with them. There's no conversation to be had because their mind's broken, let's say. Once you accept a contradiction into your internal logical structure, then that breaks the mind. It explodes the mind. And I've tended to move away because I've got McToon saying that the horizon's horizontal. The line from your feet at the edge of the water to the horizon, that's horizontal. Well, that's reality. I mean, there's no need to argue with anybody or whatever from that point onwards. But hey, McToon has got a dedicated channel on his Discord about me being a doxer. So that's what McToon's response is to this. We've got.
I see you down there, by the way,
we
Lori.
almost got him.
I do see
we
you down
almost
there,
got
Lori.
him to jump
Sorry,
in
son.
here, Bev. Go ahead, Hammer. Sorry about that.
You were trying to get McToon in here for real?
No, we almost got him in here. He was all excited that Bev's gonna show up, and he he wanted to take a shot at him.
Are we done with Mr. What's Up for now?
What's up? Unless you have anything else, Lori wants to ask a question.
Yeah, we got
but
Lori
what's
down
up?
here.
If you have anything
He's
else,
trying to get in.
This is an opportunity for everybody to see who Bev is, what he's about, what he does.
What's Up can come back if he needs to.
There's no hiding from nothing. He's here for us to fucking. Sorry for the language. He's here for us to understand, like, this guy's a mainstay, and you're gonna be able to detect why if you ask him the questions. But Lori's here. Lori, you there? Mic check 1 2. You hear us?
Come on, Laurie.
He's building the confidence. Laurie, either you say something or we keep going, brother. Yeah, no, we were gonna have MC Toon jump in. Bev, let me ask you this: would you be if we had an organized system, if we figured out an organized method, would you be? No, we would really have to figure it out, I think. I think the organized system is going to be way more productive than just the random shit show that we're getting offered these days. I would prefer Bev actually lay it out, because maybe people don't understand where he's coming from, and I don't know. I don't know what their objective is, but
Well,
look,
we've
we
been
got a lot
told
of
just
people.
recently that by people like Nathan Oakley and I don't know, Incarnation and Kenny. If you heard of Where's Wally? People like that, the arguments that we make, they've told us they're not for this arena. Like, we made an argument, right, about the Earth being not flat, and they told us that's a straw man. Now, not just Nathan Oakley and refractive curvature, but also staunch globe Earth believers. They're telling us the same thing that Nathan Oakley is, that it's a straw man argument. It's not a real argument, when it obviously is a very real argument, a very simple argument, modus tollens.
Well, it's good that we got you on record because that's the main objective, is to get Bev on record. We want him on this. We want it documented. What's surprising to me is that not a lot of these people want to even bother challenging you. That's the thing. Bev, you've been around for 5, 6, 7 years. I don't even really know at this point, but it's like you've probably dealt with a lot of these guys. And how often do you deal with people who are just not as caught up with everything? Like, that's probably annoying. A lot of these guys are new, or they don't understand where you're coming from.
They just want to call you a flat earther and, like, not bother going into any other discussion. There is a modern day science overload sort of thing where people, they like to claim science and, like, science proves or science doesn't prove or whatever, but they don't actually know how to formulate an argument to actually understand what the scientific method actually is and how you use it.
Well, that's putting it politely.
Well, I like to, you don't want to put people down, because I consider, as a child, all of us, as you're growing up and you have the stages of mental development, from 0 to about 7, that's the grammar stage of the trivium, where you should just learn cup and square and circle, like just the words and how to form these words. And then at the age of 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, the mind swaps and switches, and then you're able to reason these things for yourself, right? So then the logical development, the asking questions start at these sort of ages. And then you begin to formulate logical structure, right? But the break in between those two means that before that reasoning, you don't have any ability to check for anything for yourself. So it just gets locked in. Like, the moment you start reasoning, anything that came before that gets locked in as a truth. And strangely enough, you get taught the globe as a little child, and you never learn any globe from that age of 7 on upwards. Like, it's gone. It's just pictures that you develop your own globe. So you can hardly blame people for not being able to get rid of that globe, because it's locked in the childlike state of your mind. You can't get rid of it. So you've got to make allowances for that people have made their own globe. It's never been taught. There's no structure behind it. And it's just you get to be an adult and you don't know anything about the globe. But you come into this arena, people will teach you about radiuses and all sorts of stuff. So you only learn those things from this arena. So everybody that's been in this arena for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sometimes 16 years have just been in this circular thing, and perhaps they've even made this part of the globe up themselves. Perhaps within the narrative, let's say, you have developed something like let's say a flat plane. Right now, a flat plane is different than a plane because it's a flat Earth thing. And if you want to put flat in front of baselines, flat angles, you know, like then you're doing that, right? Let's suppose somebody makes up a modus tollens, give it a name, like a black swan, let's say, for instance, even though it's not a black swan. And then let's hand people a picture of some oil rigs. And then you can convince people that this picture of oil rigs that you call a black swan proves something. And then everybody goes around.
Hold on. Real quick, just for everybody's sake. Like, that's always been something really curious in my mind is that, Bev, I used to remember, like, you were coming at QE, coming at Nathan with this Black Swan thing. And I could never put my finger on it, what you were trying to get at. But it felt like you were convicted in the sense that you were like, nah, dude, you guys got it twisted. You guys got it, sort of. What were you saying with that? Like, what was your angle with that one?
Well,
with the Black Swan specifically.
Well, I see, again, don't call it a black swan, because a black swan's a statement that nullifies modus tollens, but a modus tollens is an all statement, right? So let's say, for instance, if I say all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, right? Then geometrically, you can work through that to point out that any two lines that are parallel to an other line will be parallel to each other. So you use the geometric statement of that to be able to say, therefore, all horizontals are parallel to each other. Right? Now, that's an all statement. And like, if you make the statement, all swans are white, then obviously the black swan is the falsification of the statement, all swans are white. So if we make the statement that all horizontals are parallel, in order for somebody to get rid of that, they would have to show either a horizontal that isn't parallel to another one, or a horizontal that isn't parallel to the plane of the horizon, which they won't, because there is none, leaving all horizontals being parallel. But I mean, they'll say black swan or whatever, you know, they'll say that's a straw man argument and they don't mean that, or maybe there's only one plane of the horizon. They'll come up to any other reason to justify it. Now, QE's one, what's the statement that QE's making that all something is something that you can falsify with that, call it a black swan, to falsify QE's modus tollens? Yeah. What is it? I mean, it's the number one. It was the number one flat Earth proof for a year or two, perhaps.
Well, that's the thing. That's what's so curious is that, like, I think any flat earthers probably familiarized themselves with the black swan. And and Bev is one of those guys who is said, you know, we need to look at this again. I don't think people are familiar with that one. The black swan is, as you know, is encrusted in gold. That is one of the favorites of flat Earth, and
but nobody knows what it is. QE's sold them the black swan as a picture of some oil rigs, which it isn't.
So could you lay that out for everybody, because there are probably even people who don't even know what the black What's your biggest criticism of that situation? What is that about?
It's a really bad example of modus tollens, and nobody ever actually learned the process of this logical structure of arguments and how to derive proofs through this. I mean, if you were to call it in science, you'd call it a hypothesis or theorem or something, right? In mathematics, that's the initial statement of what you are going to prove, and then there's a method that goes along on how you end up proving it, and then there's a conclusion at the end. Now, so the proof of this thing goes from the if to the then. There's a process that happens within your mind that links these two parts of an argument together to give you the proof, right? It's nothing that you're ever going to hand to anybody else and give them that. You have to go through this process yourself. And when QE made his modus tollens, he labeled it wrongly and then had a big campaign drive and handed people a picture, which the picture isn't any part of the argument. That's call it a red herring. But people have taken on that picture as being the argument, and they start arguing the picture rather than the actual argument, even though the argument's flawed as well. And we don't need to go through it here, do we? Or, I mean, I don't know.
No. We don't have to go through it. If people don't know, then hey, you just need to catch up.
I will be going
Bev,
over it, obviously, because we've got.
No, I've heard you
arguments.
analyze it. Yeah, I've heard you analyze it, and you've actually talked with him a couple times, Nathan and Bev. You are not Nathan and Bev, but
QE.
Nathan and QE.
No, they can't talk about it. It's one of those ones that it's probably embarrassing. It's like Nathan Oakley does the "you can do fuck all with an angle," and he gets really upset and says you can. But he never tells anybody what it is that you can do with just an angle.
Okay, we got to talk about that right now. We have to talk about that one because I've heard this is becoming like an infamous quote of yours, Bev, whether you know it or not. Is people are saying, here's a Bev quote: "You can't do fuck all with an angle."
You
so
can.
what does that mean?
No, stay
what
positive, man. Stay positive. You can
so
do
break that
fuck
down
all with an angle. I'll get you I'll get you a picture of it.
Well, I got people who are like flat Earth that are like, oh my God, Bev said you can't do fuck all with an angle. I would wish that you would be able to tell them exactly what you're on. Like, what does that mean? Like, what are you getting at with that one?
There you go. In the chat
yes,
there.
and the memes and the picture that will help. My God, that will absolutely help.
So it says, with just an angle and no additional information, we cannot determine or conclude anything about geometric properties or relationships. Meaning that if you have like a sextant and you look out and you measure an angle, that sextant will give you an angle. That being, pick a number, 33 degrees, right? You've just got an angle. You've not got the rest of the triangle. There's nothing else. You don't generate a triangle with a sextant by measuring an angle. That just doesn't happen. Now you can imagine, like a lot of people have done, that you can put a ruler on a picture. Like, can you remember the Thanks Bev? And it's still going on over at Gem Pandas. He's still got that thing on. Ranty perhaps left. He switched after finding a picture, right? Well, what he did on Ruhif's help was they determined an angle of the guy that was stood with the camera, And then they placed a ruler on the picture, which then became the opposite side to the angle that they've measured, that they didn't measure because it's just a picture. But if you can imagine you hold an angle like a sextant at this one position, if you've got it in your mind that you can place that opposite side over there in the distance and place a ruler there, then you're closing that space off. You're making a triangle with that line over there in the distance. And you can't do that. That's a magic trick. People have fooled you with that. It's not possible. It's not even possible for you to measure an angle and look in a book, because that book can't help you out with how long that line is.
The book isn't giving us angles.
No, you measure the angle.
Yeah,
But
no,
so
no,
there's
that's
nothing
what I'm saying.
geometric
Yeah,
you can do anything else with it.
Well, that's why I'm so glad that we got this on record. This is on record now, because like they come at us with that stuff all the time, and I don't even think they say thanks, Bev, and I'm like, dude, do you even know what he says? Do you even know what Bev is talking about? Probably
If nobody's ever talked to us about that ranty thing, right? Because we've been there. We took the pictures. We know all of the geometry. We know the trigonometry. We know all of that stuff. And they still continue to say thanks, Bev. Nathan Oakley, strangely enough, has also done exactly the same thing with the you can do fuck all with an angle. Ruhif was the guy that showed us this particular method. But Ruhif isn't the first. There was a guy called Al Baruni that did. He was the first person to do this. He was a little bit more inventive with a little bit of geometric trickery, but exactly the same thing. You can do fuck all with an angle, but you can convince people of some magic trick and they'll believe you because they haven't got any understanding of geometry or any of the principles that derive any of this stuff.
Well, dude, I think that's absolutely a proof right now. These guys don't have anything to combat you with on that one, because what are they going to say? Like,
well, Nathan Oakley just says, don't bother listening to Bev. And that's,
no,
I mean, that's
no,
working
I wouldn't.
quite well
Hey,
for
that's
him at the
weak.
minute.
That's
well,
yeah,
he's
no, that's
doing
weak.
okay with it. And he's got
No, because
McToon to play little games with, celestial navigation games. They do the same. They can't do anything with the angle either. They're not special. But McToon can't call Nathan Oakley out, and Nathan Oakley can't call McToon out because they're both in it together. They both need each other. They both need each other to accept the contradiction that you can do fuck all with an angle, because they both want to say that they can prove their models with it.
Yeah.
And you can't.
Well, that's why I like your position is kind of like, dude, look at these guys. Look at them. Look at them go. Because from what I'm gathering is that these guys got all sorts of different opinions about this stuff, but you're right here, right now, ready to talk with it. They're not so eager to do the same, Bev. They're not really necessarily out here trying to talk with you about that.
Well, like they said, right? The stuff that we do isn't for this arena. So don't attempt to use any of the stuff we're talking about here within this flat earth, globe earth arena, because they'll get upset. It's not for that. This is just things you do in reality and the practical methods of the things that people do in reality. Obviously, the flat earth and the globe earth aren't within reality. So don't try and talk logically to a model afflicted person, because they take very badly to it, and they're very aggressive within their demeanor, right? They really don't like you saying sort of things like that. I mean, I've took a lot
they're
of
not
abuse
so
from
eager to
people.
hear you. Yeah.
Well, I've took a lot of abuse from people like Fight the Flat Earth, Ruhif, Blue Marble Science, Zanuck, you name it, George.
Shout them out.
George
Shout them
Snupsack,
out. Shout them out.
Rumpus.
Yeah,
Nathan
they don't want to
Oakley,
hear it.
QE, Arwin. All of these people have publicly said that they're going against us, but they're flat earthers and globe earthers. They're not interested in just simple reality conversations.
Okay, let me ask you this, Bev. Where do you think that their main issue is? Like, you got flat earthers on one side, you got globe earth. You say model afflicted. I think that's a pretty good term for it. Where do you detect that they're coming at you with? What do they try to hit you with? Like, what's their main arguments against what you're saying? Like, where are they
They
coming
try
from?
and get me to accept contradictions.
Mm.
And that's it. Nathan Oakley wants everybody to believe that you can do something with an angle. And he wants to tell everybody to not listen to us because you can do something with an angle. But just attempt asking Nathan Oakley what he can do with an angle and he'll shut you down too. Simple questions. If you can't do anything, don't expect Nathan Oakley or QE or Arwin or 10th Man or whatever to be able to do anything with it because they're not special.
Well, you got the critics. Here's the thing. You got the critics who want to, come at people like yourself. And it's like, dude, okay, if you're going to come at Bev, what do you got? What can you put on the table? It doesn't seem like there's anything that they're bringing, Same with the Glober side, like MC2. It doesn't seem like he's even come. What could they say? I can't even imagine what they would try to come at you with because it seems like you're working from a foundation, like a framework, and it's pretty solid and based. But what do they have? I don't even really see what they have.
Well, I mean, it's like I say, the flat Earth and the globe Earth aren't in reality. So the stuff that we do in reality and all of the tests that we've done, it appears that they they want to let each other. Was that Laurie? Go on, Laurie, have a go.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just checking my mic. Apparently it works now. But since you gave me the floor, I'm gonna ask my question that I kind of came to ask. You kind of call other people model afflicted, but I've kind of noticed that you are talking about Euclidean geometry. You are not necessarily talking about reality. You are talking about Euclidean geometry, which is a theory, and they may be asserting that that theory is a reality. So you keep kind of obfuscating. I actually Googled, is Euclidean geometry a model? And it says here, Euclid's geometry model is an abstract model of the world. So my claim is you are model afflicted. The term that you like to use for other people, you are model afflicted and you are stuck on the Euclidean model instead of reality. And then you want to claim that that is reality and you keep equivocating the two.
But does it not say of the world? Is the world not reality?
Yeah, just like the globe model is a model of the world. So thank you. If you use that excuse, I can then go to the globe model and you cannot call me model afflicted.
Okay, well, like I say, everyone knows 'tis globe. So, I mean, that's brilliant, right? Now, the Euclidean principles apply in the world, right?
Just like the globe applies in the world, everything relating to the globe applies in the world.
Okay, so the straight lines existing means that horizontal planes can be established in the reality, the world that we all have.
Sure.
Well, there you go. There's no argument. If you can fit horizontal planes into your globe framework, then you're relating your globe to reality.
Okay, so
As-
now
as everyone
you keep
should.
doing. You just did the same thing. So you now said that if you now equivocated again reality and then your Euclidean model, and then you said that if my globe model agrees with your Euclidean model, which is the reality, no, you can't do that, Bev, because you just admitted that I can do the same and I can say that globe is the reality. So how about I say this? If your Euclidean model agrees with my globe reality, then it can be true. But other than that, maybe you should shut the hell up and shove your Euclidean fantasy up your ass.
Relax.
Okay, so
you can ask him the question.
Does Euclidean principles, do they relate to your globe?
Well, they say non-Euclidean. Right?
Well, I would say
No, I'm asking Euclidean specifically.
I could ask you the same question, and if the answer is no, then I can say, well, your Euclidean model doesn't
ask me the question, though,
fit
even
with
though I've
reality.
just
Then.
asked you the question. Don't wrap it around.
Yeah.
I've asked you the question. Are you going to answer it? If you're not, ask me the question that you're afraid to answer for yourself. Make your mind
I'm
up.
not afraid of answering anything, but I will ask you the question then. So do your Euclidean principles apply to the globe?
To reality.
Yes, to reality, which is the globe, yes.
Okay, right. So in reality, we apply these realizing Euclid tests. So you can realize Euclid for yourself in reality.
No, your Euclid test actually assumes the Euclidean model. You don't verify it, you just assume it, which is your whole problem. You always keep assuming it and asserting it and assuming it and asserting it, and hoping that if you assume and assert it enough, people will just believe you. Okay. Well, we live in reality. We don't live in your Euclidean fantasy that you want to assert.
Okay.
You're a fundamentalist loon,
a simple question. Laurie.
Go ahead.
Okay. North, south, east, and west. Are they cardinal directions? Are they perpendicular to each other?
Sure, they are perpendicular to each other.
Now, perpendicular is a definition within Euclidean geometry involving two straight lines, a relationship of right angles to each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
Sure.
Now, in your model, north, south, east, and west, how many of those are circles?
North, south, and east and west, though, and this is not a dodge. This is really relevant. They are concepts. They are not in reality. We have world in reality, and then we have human concepts: north, east, south, and west. So you're not talking about reality. You keep talking in models, and then you just want to assert that you keep talking in reality. No,
you said they're perpendicular. Right, you agree.
Perpendicular again. It's a concept. Can you tell me when you are bringing it to reality, Bev?
And within north, south, east, and west, because they're in reality, right?
No, they are human concepts that we apply to reality, Bev.
Are they circles? Any of them? North,
they
south,
can be,
or east
and
west?
They can be.
How many do you have? Is north-south a circle?
It can be, yes.
Okay. East-west, is that a circle?
It can be, yes.
Okay. Since perpendicular is two straight lines, how can they be circles?
Why is it two straight lines?
Because perpendicular, that's the definition. Definition 10.
So you now apply your Euclidean model into reality. We're talking about reality. We're not talking about your Euclidean fantasy.
Okay, well, what's your
so can you stick with reality?
What's your definition of perpendicular?
Oh, I talk about reality.
Yeah.
So reality doesn't have perpendicular because that's a definition of
north, south, east, and west.
It's a concept. It's a concept, Bev. So either we talk reality. yes, it's a definition, but when you define something, by the way, Euclid, it like I said, and I read earlier, it's a mathematical theory and it's a model. So you keep talking theory and then you want to assert it as reality. No, you can't do that because
Yeah,
there's
you
a
can.
fundamental
You can do
distinction between.
perpendicular
No,
and
you
reality.
cannot do that.
Of course you can.
Right.
Why are you saying you
You
can't
just
do
hold on,
perpendicular
hold on,
and
hold
reality?
on, hold on. You just played a word game on me. I didn't say that you can do a perpendicular in reality.
Hold on.
I
Just
said
for everybody's sake,
you
Laura,
cannot
you're really
talk
coming at
models and
Bev. You're really
yeah,
coming
yeah,
at
yeah.
him.
But why
See,
are you
they get
typing at me,
angry.
Sinclair? So when
Hold
I'm currently
on, Lori.
talking,
I gotta just for everybody's sake, like you're really coming at him. What is that about? Like, what do you got against this man? Like, you're coming at him really hardcore, bro.
It's a long-standing.
Like, we're trying to get Bev on record for him to
I
say
like that
where he's
you're
coming from, and you're really
you have
coming
to
at
come
him.
and defend Bev, Sinclair. So
Well,
I know I have him
this
on
is
the
the
ropes.
show
Then.
for Bev.
I
and you're
rest
coming
my
at him.
case. Yes, yes. It's not your show, Sinclair. So I like it that
We're
you have to
hosting
come.
for Bev, so
You
we can
have
get
to
him on
come and
record,
white
you're
knight
coming at
for
him.
him.
Yeah, we don't really need that.
That's usual, that though. That's okay. I mean, these conversations have been happening a long time, and the problem is when you get a group of people, there'll always be somebody like Laurie that gets triggered at these things. Like you saw there, he's got it, north, south, east, and west are perpendicular. Now, everybody, don't get upset because there are people that hold contradictions, especially with any sort of model. That
was crazy. That was crazy.
Well, it's because contradictions. Once you
do you get a lot of that? Do you get a lot of that, Bev? Do a lot of people come to your place and they just do that?
Well, you have to induce. I call them model-induced paradoxes. Right now, obviously, there's no such thing in reality as the paradox. It doesn't actually exist. It's a puzzle you need to solve. But this, north, south, east, west being perpendicular, but one of them or both of them being turned into circles means that you can't actually have a mental understanding of perpendicular. But people will try and justify it. They'll try and justify their model into the geometric understanding. And if you have a model there and there's a contradiction that you accept, well, you're accepting a contradiction into your logical framework.
Yeah, like it seems like you've thought about it. And here's the thing, like if you were to talk to any average mother person, I don't want to say the word. If you talk to any person like on the street, they're not gonna come at you like that guy did. They're gonna be like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like,
that's the problem, though.
People are naturally curious, but that's not natural.
Well, you can do that, though. I mean, you risk making a Nathan Oakley or a Gem Panda or a Laurie or whatever whenever you give this problem to people, because if they do have that contradiction, then they'll try and integrate it into their model.
Their worldview, yeah. Model afflicted, as you say. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it just goes to show you that whenever they have a chance to talk to you, they don't seem to understand anything about where you're coming from. That was just kind of case in point. And I'm glad we kind of got that on record, because that's kind of the whole thing with Bev, is that people don't really understand where he's coming from. So it's good that we get him to actually say, here's my angle. No pun intended, but this is what I'm doing. Here's where I'm at. And they just don't understand that. For some reason, I don't get it. But
well,
Laurie is another example.
There's many of them. There's like lots of them. People like Nathan Oakley, like hardcore. We had Jaren over. Jaren didn't take that one.
Hold on. Explain that. Explain that experience. What? Okay, so for everybody, we all know Jaren, right? Mr. Flat Earth, right? You had a talk with him. How was that? What was that about? Like, what'd you get to?
I was curious because we've done a lot of work on logic and reasoning, proof. You know, like that's mainly where our strength is, really finding proof. Because once you have a proof, it doesn't really matter what people say, because you know you have a proof and you know how you gain that proof. And it seems to me like a lot of people don't have that. So therefore, they're always scrambling to try and find a proof. We went to the very simple stuff, right? So advanced simplicity, make it really easy. And Jaron and Nathan Oakley had this conversation about proof. Now, initially, I watch a few things, right, that other people are doing. And I'd heard what I thought was Jaron and Nathan Oakley talking. And Nathan saying about proof of flat Earth. So when I heard that Jaron and Nathan were going to be having a discussion about proof, I was like, oh, this is going to be great now, because Nathan's going to be talking about his proof of flat Earth. But when they did have that conversation, was it here? It was, wasn't it? Nathan and Jaron.
Well, they tried to figure it out, yeah. Here.
Right. Well, Nathan brought proof of water, warming water, which, I mean, not much of a proof, but he was trying to explain that to Jaron. And so I was confused as to why Nathan hadn't tried to bring up his flat Earth proof to wow Jaron. And then, you know, they could have been both getting on side together and there'd have been flat Earth buddies and, you know, I've got a better proof than that, Nathan. And it would have been like I thought it was going to be a fantastic kumbaya sort of moment. And
like a teamwork thing.
Yeah, but it was the opposite. And Nathan didn't mention any of his flat Earth proof. So I went back to find out where it was that I got it in my head that Nathan and Jaron had done that, and I found a video that Jaron and McToon were doing, and I don't know whether that was here or not. I don't think it was. I think they had a private one.
No, Bev, you're giving us some new stuff.
Well, Nathan Oakley reviewed that video, and Nathan just constantly said that Jaron missed the flat Earth proof and McToon was given a flat Earth proof, and he was berating Jaron in that celestial navigation argument for not having a flat Earth proof. So I was curious about the proof sort of thing, and I needed to have a conversation. So I went over to Nathan Oakley and had a word with Nathan about proof, and tried to get, well, we got Jaron in, so we could have a conversation about Jaron and proof. But in order for us to have the conversation, we had to ease and, you know, like go about talking, settle each other down first into a conversation. And that conversation got round to perpendicular, like we just had with Laurie there. And Jaron's convinced that east-west is a circle. But he's got north, south, east, west being perpendicular locally. Which might sound familiar.
Oh yeah. Hey, we have somebody who wants to ask you a question, Bev. His name is Sexton is Fun. Real quick, brother, you got a chance. Shoot your shot here. We got Bev here. Go ahead. Can we get a mic check? There
Hello,
you go.
everybody.
There you go.
Hi, Bev.
All right.
I just wanted to ask, do you think that the sextant works along with celestial navigation?
Well, it's an angle measuring device.
Yeah, but along with the celestial navigation, does it work? Is it useful?
Well, you can measure angles with the sextant. You can measure angles to anything, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can
so
use the lights in the sky.
Okay, so with celestial navigation, along with the sextant, you can find your location on Earth. Is it right?
You can measure angles with it. I mean, the question's still up. Like, once you've measured the angle, what's the next step?
It depends on the geometry of Earth.
Well, you can't be measuring an angle because the angle's Euclidean. You can't be then deciding what geometry you want to use because you've already used Euclidean geometry to measure the angle. In a vertical plane, right?
The geometry of the Earth that we are standing on. So, for example, celestial navigation relies on globe geometry, and it works.
You know, what's globe geometry? There's no such thing. You just made that up.
Yes,
There's no such
No.
thing as globe geometry. That's where you
Geometry
can tell
related-
your model afflicted.
No, because the geometry of the globe is a sphere. So there's the geometry. Then there are two assumptions that the star, the celestial, is, you can say that it's infinite. It's very far away, so the rays are parallel. So using the geometry of the globe, the geometry of a sphere, that we are standing on sphere, on the surface of a sphere, celestial navigation works.
Sextant, bro.
So,
Wow,
This
that's
is
a
why
good
he's
one.
calling
Well
you
done.
afflicted, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you just said
No,
that
I'm just asking.
you've got globe geometry. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
And you say
Sphere
that,
geometry.
well, a sphere is Euclidean, right? It's a Euclidean. It's in book 11. Check it out. The Euclidean
So
solid
what-
geometry, a sphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the problem with that?
It's Euclidean. You're not going to say it's
So-
not Euclidean. Oh, yeah, because you can't say
Well-
that because a sphere is Euclidean.
Okay, so does it work?
What do you mean work? You can measure
You
angles in reality, yes, Euclidean geometry. I say is provable in reality. We can relate Euclid to reality. We can realize Euclidean principles in reality. Check out the Realising Euclid Test.
But can you get your location on the surface of Earth using a sextant and
Me?
and
No,
not
I
an
can't.
almanac?
I can't. Can you?
You can or cannot?
I can't, no. I've got a sextant. I've measured an angle. It's the next part that people just keep saying it works, but I don't know. I've never actually got it to work. I've never heard anybody explain the next step in the process. I'm pretty sure that 10th Man, although he's gone over it quite a lot, he's never actually give that little secret away. Nathan Oakley just says that you can do something with an angle, but it's never been shown. So no, I can't. I
well-
can't find my position. I've heard that Fight the Flat Earth has taught his kids to find their exact position on Earth using nothing but a pendulum.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we got to
That's
ask him
possible.
about that next time we get a chance.
You can, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can do it with a pendulum. You can locate your latitude.
There's no such
But
thing
not-
as because I used to take the piss out of Fight the Flat Earth with that global pendulum positioning system. You just get your pendulum out, swing it around, you know where you are. That's a load of bullshit, isn't it? Obviously.
You can try it. There are videos that show how to do it.
Do you know what you call a pendulum that isn't moving?
No,
A plumb bob.
a ball.
It's vertical. Yeah.
So what? But the pendulum has to be moving
Mhm.
in order to have the Coriolis effect, and then you can measure. You can derive your latitude.
Okay,
by
okay,
the-
hold on. One second, bro. Here, let me just remind you. There are certain geometric proofs that Bev has been talking about for a long time, and they're pretty simple from what I can gather. I'm not quite sure you know these simple geometric proofs that he's referring to, but horizontal, vertical, these are things that Globers, they got a different book or something. I don't know what they're in. Like, I don't think we're working from the same dictionary. You know what I mean? And
well,
because I've talked with a lot of Globers like yourself, and Bev is not he's on a different plane, if you don't mind me saying. He's on a different level. And I don't know if you know that, but I just
No,
want
I
to
just
clarify
want.
for the audience sake, like, bro, like this guy is, you could probably learn something from it.
I know, but I just wanted to ask him if he knows how to use the sextant and celestial navigation, if he knew how it works.
I know
That
how to use a sextant. I've got one.
yeah,
You
of course.
measure angles, right? I can
Yeah.
actually use the sextant to measure an angle. It's
Yeah.
the next step.
The next step would be, well, it's difficult to explain by voice, but you get the angle to the zenith, and then you multiply by 60 nautical miles, and then you get a circle of equal altitude.
You get a circle
Yeah, you get a circle. Yeah,
from an angle.
from an angle you derive a circle in a
But that's not geometric, right? You can't use that as a geometric principle to use an angle to derive a circle, because angles don't make circles. An angle's
no,
just
because
the inclination of one straight line to another.
yeah, but if you let's assume that it's a globe, that we are standing on a globe, then if you and the celestial is far away, so the rays are parallel.
Why would you do that? You've just measured an angle, and then you're assuming the surface. Like, why? That's not a geometric principle, and it's definitely not part of a proof of anything.
I'm trying to explain how it works.
Well, okay, hold on. We don't need you to explain. We have other people who want to ask Bev questions.
No problem.
Nothing personal, but I don't think Bev needs to be explained anything. Do you have any other questions? Because we have other people who want to talk to Bev here.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
That's okay. Okay, cool. Good stuff. Hammer, I don't know if you can do it. I can try to do it. Chikey. Hey, Bev, you remember Chike?
Oh, Chike as well, eh? Yeah, Chike came back a bit ago. Doing all right over there.
Yeah, no, he's got more questions than ever.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to pull him up here. That'll
Been
be
over
hilarious.
in Geos for a bit.
I don't know how to do it, Hammer. Come on, Hammer. Let's do this. You got it. You guys raising your hands. We have to figure out how to pull him up here. Yep. Well, that's the thing, Sexton. If you're expecting, this is not his first rodeo, if you know what I mean. We've been talking about this for a long time, and angles, man, you may be asking the right guy, because this guy knows more about angles than we know about most things.
The angle's the biggest trick that anybody's ever pulled on anybody, or he's muted.
Okay, so speaking of interesting angles, we got Chikey boy, Chikey from Israel. Okay. You hear us, Chike?
You've got him muted. Server muted, I think.
But bless you talk.
Sorry about that, Chike. Hey, sorry about that, sir. What do you? Hey, welcome. What do you got to say?
Me? Not much.
Okay, well, we brought you up here for you and Bev.
About celestial navigation. He has no clue about it.
Yeah, just measuring the angle. That's it. Step one.
Well, that's not celestial navigation. That's not how you get back home or from home to where you want to go.
Okay, what's your point? Let's make a point here.
Have you done much celestial navigation in
no
Israel?
Point to talk about with Bev.
I know your eyes aren't too good. Can you? Have you ever actually used the sextant?
Does he hear me talking?
Uh-huh.
I don't see the point to talk to someone who can define the horizontal.
Can't define horizontal, did you say? Thought you were talking about celestial navigation.
Yes, I see no point talking to you about celestial navigation if you can't.
Well, you just raise your hand to come onto the stage to talk with Bev.
See
what
you
do you
later,
mean you don't want to talk with Bev?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm talking to Bev. I just
okay, so
see
what
no
do you
point
mean you don't want to talk with him?
Look, I see no point talking to him about celestial navigation. He needs to define.
Well, you want me to kick you out of here or what?
Kick me out of here?
Dude, you're here to talk with Bev, bro.
We're talking.
Okay. What do you mean you don't want to talk with him? Ask him.
Ask him what?
Oh my
I
lord.
said already. He said
Chaiki.
that you just measure angles. That's not celestial navigation. That's not what you do when you're navigating
No, I
using
said
celestial
I
navigation.
know how to measure the angle with the sextant, Chaiki.
Good on
Now,
you.
now, how much celestial navigation have you done?
0.
Okay. So there's no point us talking about celestial navigation then, is there?
Why not? The fact I didn't do it doesn't make I don't know anything about it,
But
like you.
Chaiki, you only know
Did you
anything
did any
about it
celestial
because of
navigation, Bev?
this arena, Chaiki. Because
Did you?
somebody has brought up a an argument, but it's not really an argument, about how the proof of flat Earth and actually globe Earth as well. McToon says you can't do celestial navigation without a globe model. And Nathan Oakley says as soon as you measure an angle, you prove flat Earth. So there's two different sides there. And I'm saying all I know how to do is measure the angle. And I'm not really bothered about anything else because I don't need to celestial navigate. I don't need to. Looking at the lights in the sky seems a little bit ridiculous to me.
Sure is when you have GPS today. So you agree with me that there's no point talking with you about celestial navigation. You've never done one before?
I've got a sextant, Chaiki. I've at least
You
measured an
got a
angle.
sextant. Yeah,
You've
I saw a
done
sextant
nothing, Chaiki.
I saw a sextant in a picture, Bev.
Mm-hmm.
It's equivalent to I have a sextant. You
Well, no, it's
didn't
because
do
I've actually
celestial
measured.
navigation.
I've actually measured
Am
the
I
angle
correct?
with the
Bev,
sextant,
you were
Chaiki.
talking all the time. I didn't
Sorry about that, Bev. I just felt like that wasn't going anywhere. I mean, you kind of already said you only did the first step and you haven't done the second step.
Jaiki's
You know what I mean?
a long time, let's say, obfuscator. Whenever you go into places to talk about things, people like Chaiki and Laurie, they're in these arenas to do exactly what he's just done right there. Shut down conversation, just turn it into a shit show. He's never done celestial navigation. He's got no idea about it, but he does know how to develop an argument. Just like Nathan Oakley, he's never done celestial navigation. QE, anybody that uses celestial navigation in this arena has never done it. They just use it as an argument, but their argument is built upon an angle that nobody knows what to do with. Like, geometrically, it's impossible to do anything with it. In fact, people have built up lies within this arena based on this angle measurement system. And it'll keep going forever, backwards and forwards. Flat earthers say this, globe earthers say that. It doesn't prove either. But hey, it keeps them happy. It's kept them happy for a few years. I don't know what the next thing will be. But they've shit all over arguments. And with this sextant thing, it seems like they're shitting all over geometric principles. So if they've got all of that sorted, they've got the logic and the arguments. Nobody understands what an argument is. And if then you also completely mess up people's understanding about how geometry works and how you derive your proofs, then people will be going round and round in circles for ages. So that's why it's definitely not for this arena. I mean, there'll be a lot of people that don't want me saying these sort of things. But like I say, I'm not really part of this. I've never been part of this. I came into this arena to find the trolls. And when I mean the trolls, I mean the really nasty, horrible people that end up drawing people into these arenas. so that they can label them and keep them. I call it actually mentally abusing people, because they're telling you, or they're telling me, let's say, for instance, I have proof, so I'm fine. I've got a shield. I know what proof is, but they're telling me that I have to accept their contradictions because they're either a glober or a flat earther, and it doesn't really matter which one they are, but both of these two groups of people are telling me that I have to accept their contradictions for some reason. Seems strange, but that's the way it is.
They're definitely not eager to talk with you, Bev. I think maybe it's intimidating for people to talk about this stuff because it's so simple. Like, you're not talking about the most hyper complex of things here. You're talking about it's so simple that it's foundational kind of thing. And maybe they find that challenging. I'm not quite sure. We got Lori. I don't know if were you on here earlier, Lori, or what do you want to do here? You want to come back up here? Oh shit! Too many people. Too many people here. I think we both invited him up.
Let's see.
All right,
What
Lori.
the hell happened
Come
there?
on. We're okay. We fucked it up. Sorry for the language.
Yeah, no problem.
Listen, we got Bev here. He's laying it out for us. What do you got?
Yeah. Yeah, I would just like to know, since strictly speaking, on the Euclidean geometry, a straight line has no width. I heard you, Bev, mention the straight line earlier, and you seem to have an issue with the globe model, thinking that straight lines are curved. In the Euclidean model, a straight line has no width. Now, in reality, wouldn't you say that a straight line actually does have width? And doesn't that cause a huge rift between what the Euclidean model says and then what's actually reality?
You think the shortest distance between 2 points has a width? I don't.
If I draw a line, does it have a width in real life?
If you draw a line, well,
yes,
that's not a one-dimensional line, is it? That's you drawing a line. That's it's one of the postulates that you are allowed to draw a line, but a line, like Euclid states, is 1D. That's just a representation, so you can get the model in your head of what the line is.
So, do you agree, though, that if I were to draw a line on a paper, that would be a line in real life and not in any geometry, not in any theory? That's a real life line.
You can draw a line, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Do you think that in reality there's anything that's actually one-dimensional? Does anything one-dimensional exist in reality?
No.
Thank you. Can you point to a line in reality that's one-dimensional?
The shortest distance between 2 points.
But can you point to me any one of those lines?
Not point to it. It is the shortest distance between 2 points.
But that's a definition. Does that line exist?
It can be measured as being the shortest distance between those 2 points. Yes.
Yes, but it's basically an idea. That's what I'm getting at. It's not an actual line. It's not an actual line in reality. Idea.
I think everybody understands what the principle of a straight line is. Yes. Like you can just imagine it, right? You know, like a triangle, right? That has 3 straight sides and 180 degrees internal angles. Do you need to draw that triangle to know a triangle has 3 straight sides?
Not necessarily, no.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
same as your straight line. Just imagine one
Absolutely,
of those
absolutely,
straight
yeah.
lines of the triangle as being the straight line that you're talking about.
Yeah. What I'm getting at is, you say that you talk about reality, but then you talk about Euclidean geometry, and that's not actually reality. That's a theoretical conception. And this line point proves it exactly, because in reality, there can exist nothing that's one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why.
And you agreed to that.
Euclid
but
test.
then you keep still equivocating between Euclid and reality, and those two are not the same thing. You have to distinguish that Euclid is your theory, and then reality is reality. You are model afflictive, Bev, again.
Okay. I'll point out again, we do have tests, and they are called the Realising Euclid Tests. That means
yes, and
we make real these Euclidean principles.
But you cannot, because you cannot, for example, can you do in your Realising Euclid test, can you make a one-dimensional line?
That's crazy. That's a crazy question, Ori. We're dealing with
It's a good question,
Bev
isn't
is
it?
saying that he's got a proof of concept, I think.
We've got tests in reality for realizing Euclid. Now,
So,
people can do
guys,
these.
can
for
you
themselves.
answer my question though? Can you answer my question though? Because I asked you, can you like make a one-dimensional line in reality in your Realising?
He said yes. Yes, we have.
Yes.
We have a test called a Realising Euclid test that does proposition 1, book 11, and that's about a straight line lying within a plane and not leaving that plane. So it's about a straight line. That's the Realising Euclid test in reality, right? We've attempted to realise Euclid by realising the Euclidean principles into reality. So I would say yes. You can do that. Now, I mean, it's up to you whether you think you could do that or not. I mean, perhaps you don't think you can realise any of those Euclidean principles. You know, like Pythagorean theorem. Do you not think you could actually do that in reality?
Pythagorean theorem is sort of a different question, isn't it?
No, that's within Euclid. It involves a triangle and straight lines. In order to find a right angle, yeah?
I think technically speaking, Pythagorean theorem is not in Euclid because it's Pythagoras, it's a different guy.
It's proposition.
It fits with Euclidean.
Book 1. I'll say that again. Proposition 47, book 1. It's an entirely
can you say
geometric proof of the Pythagorean theorem. Probably one of the most exquisite proofs of the Pythagorean theorem. But
no, I didn't actually know that that's there.
No. Well, it is. Some people have even said they could replace the triangle axiom with that. You know, when they were having that hoo-ha when they were trying to mess around with Euclidean geometry. You know, change it for that other one.
So how does this Realising Euclid test work in actuality?
It's the proposition 1, book 11. Have a look for yourself. It's the method of doing that by using shared straight line segments. Geometric. I think it's brilliant, but I would. But yeah, geometric principles and proofs within reality of a shared straight line segment.
Yeah. I think I've heard of similar experiments before, but there is always some problem between you guys not making sure that it's actually straight or not making sure that the straight lines are actually correctly aligned with each other. Like there's always some technical issue that makes it so that it isn't valid.
Okay. So
But
you
I
can
would
find
love it if you could fix those sort of technical methodological issues. Sure, but no one has been able to do it so far.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Lori, okay, do you have anything else, or was that about it?
No, I think that's it.
I think that's about it too.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much, Lori.
here's the thing. We want to lay this out. I think, Bev, like, here's the thing. I don't even think people know what you're saying, quite honestly, because when you get a chance to describe it, it kind of makes sense. And I don't think even people understand what you're saying. So it's good
People
to get it
have
on
accused
record.
us of speaking a different language, yeah. And this is because it's logic, and it does. You go back to first principles, right, and start from there. And once you can get on that, it seems very simple, I think, but I don't think there's many people that can actually drop the model to come and get to those first principles, because people imagine that they know a lot more. We're not talking about that, clever stuff that you do. We're talking about the real basic stuff. And most people are
just
too
the language
far on.
of it. Yeah, just even the language of it seems kind of challenging for these people. And I'm not saying I know much about this stuff too, and that's maybe why they say you're speaking a different language, because these guys, if you try to talk to them about the simple stuff, I'm just listening to you, right? Listening to you talk with these guys. They don't seem like they're as familiar about this stuff as they want to project it. And if you can talk about it, we would love to hear people talk about it, especially with Bev. And there's not a lot of people who can do that. So that's kind of demonstrated at this point.
Well, yeah, there's being able to talk about it, and there's being able to talk on your own about this sort of stuff. I've been sort of practicing how to do that, and I'm getting my video editing a bit better, and we're getting more principles and better arguments and more structure. I've personally been learning rhetoric to learn how to be able to communicate things to people.
Well, sometimes the facts aren't good enough. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to try to knock it in a different way with some of these guys. Because sometimes I don't know. It's like the language they don't. It's like they don't understand. Maybe they don't. But
I think it doesn't fit in with the scripted narratives of this flat Earth globe Earth. Because what we've got here is we've got a way of finding proofs out for yourself. Now, once you find those proofs out for yourself, you might think you want to put your flat Earth cape on, or your globe Earth cape on, and go save everybody else from whatever. But there's only one reality. So everybody fighting over flat Earth or globe Earth or whatever, are you forgetting about the actual reality that we're dealing with? And there are conversations to be had about reality that never get on because people are too busy imagining models and things about what happens. Like somebody was telling me the other day about taking a trip around the North Pole. I mean, I've never done that. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't know anybody that has done it. So it can only be done in the mind. And, well, I can't fantasize about stuff that just doesn't seem to work. I can't do that.
Well, it's crazy because I would love to hear them say it. I would love to hear them say, "Oh yeah, we went to the North Pole, we went to the South Pole, and this and that and the other." Oh, okay, sure. I've never met any of those people.
Well,
and it's kind of hard to talk about if it's just so alien. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of things that you have to take on, right? So there's people who believe that if you head north, you will eventually go south. Right? If you
That's
head
what they
north,
say, yeah.
there's a place where east and west just disappear, and north disappears too.
Start
Every
going the other way.
direction is south. And then when you go south, some people believe that you can end up going north again.
That's crazy to me. That's so wild. Like, think about that implication, like, geometrically. It's just weird to even kind of say that.
Well, they're the sort of things that nobody ever bothers saying to anyone, because flat earthers have north turning into south, and globe earthers have north turning into south and then turning back into north again. And globe earthers have down turning into up as well. So there's contradictions that the flat earthers will allow the globe earthers to have, because they have that contradiction too. Maybe only half of it, but they still have it. And neither of them can call each other on the contradictions, because they'll just get called back again. They don't even want to open up their own contradictions by asking the other people about the contradictions that they hold. So it's tough. I personally just go with the no contradiction model. Does leave me in, like people call me a fence sitter, but I mean, is it really fence sitting to not accept contradictions? I don't consider that
This is
fence sitting.
Yeah, this is why I feel like it's hilarious, because Bev, here we go. Like, we have a perfect opportunity for anybody to come in here and ask Bev in the flesh the questions. And you know what? I don't think these guys, I don't know if it's a confidence thing, I don't know what it is, but these guys, you're here, ready to talk about it, not hiding from nobody. And I don't think people, I kind of feel like people are over-talk themselves in the sense that they feel a lot more confident they are, because Bev, you're in a league of your own out here, and a lot of these guys, I don't know where they get this stuff from, but they're not as free as you are in talking about this stuff. You seem to be familiar with the topic, and these guys are just, who knows? They can't talk about this.
I've been taught a lot by every conversation that I've ever had. Because like we're talking through this sort of thing, and I've made a lot of videos, so I get a chance to having bust the songs, right? I clip out best bits, which means I go over the conversations to clip out certain bits to place in the you don't understand, or the Buster tunes, right? He makes them specially so I can put these little clips in. So I get the ability to be able to go over conversations, and I hear these things more than once, right? Once I'm involved in them, and then I get a chance to go over them and like sort of judge my performance and see bits that you perhaps wouldn't see. So I've been a student of the conversations, the arguments, how people obfuscate different arenas and different, well, I don't know, it's just like the whole thing within this arena. We've sat and watched different scenarios develop. We've watched people badmouth us. We've had all sorts of slanderous things going on, and even more so in other servers. Like, people, we have been a topic of a lot of conversations in a lot of different servers that you never get chance to defend yourself in. So obviously a lot of hype has been blown up about us and about what we believe and what we do and all of that. Whereas
I kind of think it's deserved, though. Like, I don't know how long you've been out here on this stuff, but it's like 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Who knows at this point? It's like one of the bigger voices is what you've been doing. Like what you've been talking about is one of the bigger voices out here, and I don't think many people know that. But if you actually look back in time, and who was talking about what, you've always kind of been a voice that's a little bit bigger than most. And I don't know if people are unfamiliar with that or what, but a lot of people I think resonate with what you're saying. So, and you're right. I don't think people hear it enough, and I don't think people they're not as confident. Um, okay, you have your server, right? And you talk with a lot of people regularly. And how, like, what's your experience with that? You've talked with a lot of people at this point. What's your experience with talking with these guys over the years?
There's a model affliction that comes, and this particular arena, it's dead small, right? I always, when I first started, I was wondering, what happens to the new people? You know, like, where are the new people? How do they get an initiation into this arena? And there isn't anyone. This particular arena that we're in, this is the hardcore. This is where you end up when you want to be able to talk to someone. Because what would happen was you'd Google Flat Earth and you get the Flat Earth Society. So you go there and you type about whatever, and it doesn't take you too long to realise it's just text idiots typing ridiculous shit.
It doesn't feel real. It feels fake.
Well, then the
somehow.
next place you go, and on the list, I don't know whether it still is or not, is 24/7 Discord, Flat Earth, 24/7. So that's Discord, and then you get into where you get a chance to be able to go and talk to people. And well, it doesn't take you long before you realise that, you know, it's a little bit weird. It's like, I consider my time at that sort of place as a dark, dingy club. And then you get kicked out of that. Everybody gets kicked out for whatever reasons, right? Whether you find out it's a chill thing. But I thought, when I went there, I thought, it's so close to the Flat Earth Society that why wouldn't the Flat Earth Society have the group of people that talk about Flat Earth also? It makes sense.
Right. Where would they be?
Yeah, where would you? They can't just leave it at that Flat Earth Society. These people want to control the entire narrative. And then you find out that there are people that do that. Like, we were told originally that, you know, you've heard of Mark Taylor. Shout out Mark Taylor. He told us that they run this thing. So that means that there's a group of people that will never let you leave, right? They purposely, and I know what it's like, they purposely post on every YouTube video you ever do. If you try and talk to anybody else on any other social media thing, they'll be there telling the people that you're a flat earther and you've done this and you do that, and every conversation gets turned into a flat earth shit show when you're talking to anyone. Even if you want to talk to people about maths or whatever, these people are there. So that entire narrative is run by groups and people within these sort of arenas. They'll come in and they'll interrupt, they'll obfuscate conversations, they'll slander, they'll do whatever they can. And that's why it took a while for us to actually do what we've done, to be able to get to the position now that we can actually talk about this sort of stuff openly. Obviously not to many people, right? There's not these, we're never going to get these big numbers, because what we do isn't for the masses. But lots of people like the backwards and forwards arguing and the name calling. And
Bev, I think it's a lot bigger than you think. man. I think it's way bigger than even me and you both realize. Like, I think like they listen, dude. You look at these channels sometimes, and they get like hundreds and hundreds of people, and you look at us, and it's like, dude, okay, this isn't right. I think it's way bigger than even we realize personally. I don't know if you resonate with that, but I think it's pretty big stuff, man. Like for real. I think this is like anybody's. This is about as real as it gets. Like I don't know how much further you could go from this, but I think it's way bigger than what they're saying.
See Rachie in my chat. I think Sleeping Warriors Flat Earth Society, Rachie. Sorry. I do.
Hey, you know what's funny? I was checking the other day. On if you go on the Flat Earth Society website, you know, they have Ranty right on there. And I'm like, oh my God. Of course they do.
Hey, I tell you what I found the other day. Somebody gave us a link. I think they were trying to take the piss out of us, right? There's a link for a site. Is it called Professor Jonah or something? And the Globers have gone to a lot of trouble finding out who the different people are. There's like 4, 5, 6 pages of rebuttals of videos to the things I've said on this site. They've literally made an entire
site.
Yeah,
you got fact checked, bro. I don't know how to tell you. They're fact
no, it's just it's just a serious Glober thing. Like, I'm not a flat earther, yet these things have developed a website saying that I am a flat earther.
Guilty by association. I'm sorry.
Well,
guys.
I think personally it's because I'm talking about the Globers here. They don't like these arguments that we have from reality. So if they can dismiss them as flat earth, then obviously they can just dismiss them as flat earth arguments, but they're not. We're not flat earthers. The earth is not flat. That's why they get really upset, because they try and dismiss us as flat earthers, but we're not.
Well, this is what's so crazy. They roped you into it.
Yeah.
So guilty by association, Bev. They kind of even interacting in this community.
It's worse than that.
Draws you in.
It's worse than that, because when I came into this discussion and Fight the Flat Earth brought me in, obviously I brought the level is a straight line on a horizontal plane argument with me. You know, just to state facts to these people. Now that's developed into the fucking argument. Right? That is developed into a flat earth thing. Because of these group of people bringing me in as a flat earther. Which, I don't know, that's not good for the argument, is it?
Well, I think it's hilarious that you start saying geometric facts and they start like bickering with you. Like they start arguing with you like, fuck.
Yeah.
You start saying basic geometry shit and then they start arguing with you. That's so crazy.
Well, they literally want to say not that, right? Euclidean geometry, proof, triangles, circles, squares. They want to say not that, but then try and use angles, which are Euclidean, right? To prove not that somehow. As though that's some sort of an argument.
It's like a whole argument based on no. They're just saying no. And it's like, I don't think they have an argument. I don't know. But like, what do they say against what you're saying? Like, do they have anything against that stuff?
Literally, all of the arguments that they keep coming up with, like you're just hand wave dismissing it. That's a straw man. That's all that they ever say. They never rebut any of the arguments. They just say that's not an argument. Much the same as Nathan Oakley, which is the striking thing that people should be made aware of here. That Nathan Oakley replies in the exact same way that these Globers do. And if that doesn't tell you something, then you're missing the point entirely of what we've been doing while we're here. We just point out simple facts of reality. And, well,
Nathan's an interesting guy, no doubt. There are things that he'll talk about that are like he's got it, like he nails it. And then there's other things he just completely avoids, and I'm like, what? Come on, like, what is that? What are you? Why don't you talk about that here?
In the discussions I have, I like to try and show people that, you know, you can have a discussion, and it doesn't matter how you do have this discussion with people, but the idea is to be able to communicate a point. And sometimes people see the point, sometimes they don't, but the conversations always get had, and that's what we're after. I think these channels especially, it needs to be moved on, the conversation from where we were to these new conversations. Obviously that we've got to get rid of the old stale narrative of the people that were there in order to bring new people into a discussion about different things. That people shouldn't be getting upset with other people, although modern day life, right, I think that's the big change, right? Whatever's happened over these last few years, people are waking up, like you say, right? And you think the movement's bigger, but it's not flat earth. It's just people are opening their eyes to see what's going on.
It's like, I've noticed that it's not really even about flat earth, but for some reason or the other, there's a lot of people, for some reason, we're the kind of like the front runners of this stuff, Bev. Like, you look around what in our conversations and in yours, like in all these things, it's like they want to know what we're talking about. And we've been talking about it for a long time, so.
Well, I'd say
they are attracted by the conversation, I think, a lot.
Yeah, the conversation, I don't know whether you noticed, did you see Jaren do a thing with Fight the Flat Earth? Actually, I'll put that out here now. I will have a word with Fight the Flat Earth on education in this channel, if you can sort that one out, right? But Fight the Flat Earth, Fight the Flat Earth and Jaren had a conversation the other day. Did you see that? Like, they've 12 points, 5 minutes or whatever, right? I don't think people want to hear any of that. Like, Fight the Flat Earth, he's a nobody. He's just some dude from Scotland. He claims to have these certificates that even, you know, people are questioned about his qualifications. And then he's got a criminal conviction now for beating his neighbor up because he's an angry person. And I know that. Dude,
I'll tell you this. Bev, I gotta say this just for the record. I didn't even know that. Okay, so
yeah, I know they keep it quiet, don't they?
Well, you know,
it was described.
That's a part of it. That's a part, I guess,
as a really violent, overly violent attack on his neighbor.
Well, hold on. Okay, Bev, let me just say for the record's sake. Come on. Like, you know how they used to say Nathan Oakley abused his kid or something? You know, they say that.
I don't know
they say
that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, people have these things, and I don't even know if it's true. I kind of personally don't believe some of this stuff, but
oh no, he made
it's crazy.
it.
It's crazy, some of this shit that goes on here.
This is documented.
Well, I'm just saying I got no accusation on that. But APOC, you want to say something, APOC? I gotta piss. Sorry. Go ahead, APOC, please. My God.
Dude, my mic's all jacked up.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that conversation with Fight the Flat Earth and Jaren was just a flat Earth globe Earth thing, and they were both agreeing that their contradictions. They were both agreeing to have the east-west circle contradiction, let's say. And we like with the conversation that we had was strange. I've had so many strange conversations with people that wouldn't go as the way you imagine them to, because of this affliction within this model. I mean, obviously, the people that have called themselves flat earthers and they've actually got that in their name, they have to live by that, which they've put themselves in a really bad position, especially with flat Earth. Because if the earth is the soil of the land, it's not flat. So the very name flat earth it's an oxymoron. It's a contradiction within itself. Easily provable to be not that. So that's a really bad position. If you're going to go into a debate or a conversation or whatever, and your opening position is a contradiction, then you're not going to do very well within a debate, and nobody's going to take you seriously if your opening position is contradictory. And I think that's why the globe guys do okay, because obviously people can see that the earth isn't flat. So the false dichotomy is set up that globe earther wins. It's like, I think we have a guy called Kevin, shout out Kevin. He likens it to the Harlem Globetrotters. That, you know, anytime you go into this thing, is it the Washington Generals? And well, that's the flat earthers. And the Harlem Globetrotters are the globe guys. And it's always going to end the same way. Well, we're the spectators going, yeah, this is all set up. Just watching the game, watching the plays being made. Working out proofs for ourselves.
Yo, Bev. Now I want to ask you this. Let's put this on record here. What happened with Flatzoid? Did you not want to? You guys had a debate or something planned for tonight, and you didn't want to. What's that?
Yeah, he said something about I don't know, a power cut or whatever. I want to have I really do want to have a conversation with just about everyone about proof and what they've gained from this arena. Like, what's the biggest thing that you've gained from it?
No, that's what I'm saying. I was really kind of looking forward to you and Flatzoid talking. I like to hear Flatzoid. I think he's like an honest guy. I think he's got a real genuine nature to him. And I was actually kind of looking forward to it. I was wondering what was that about? Like, maybe we need to set that up or something still, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that would be really cool.
I definitely want to do it.
I would love to hear Bev and Flatzoid talk for a few hours. That would be awesome.
Fight the Flat Earth as well. Get him on it. If
Well,
McToon wants to
if
talk
you
about
can get
proof
it- if you can
and
get
that
him to-
sort of stuff as well.
If you can get him to behave. Fight the Flat Earth, he's toning it down a little bit more, thankfully. And he can be relatable, I think. So
It was
I
all right
think
with
there's-
Jaren.
He did a good job. I thought that was really like the best thing I've seen from him in a while. So yeah.
Did you not think it's strange?
Well, it was.
Did you not think it was too comfortable? Like they were really
okay.
friendly.
Okay, well, they said they shared each other their shit. Oh, sorry. They said they prepared for it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, they sounded really friendly. They were laughing at each
Well,
other's
it was
jokes
productive. It
and-
was like orderly, and they said it was business. I get it, but it was kind of like orderly. It was like way better than just a shit show. Because
Honestly,
I think
afflicted.
even he had to agree with some. He just had to agree with certain things.
Yeah, with the globe. You'd be surprised how model afflicted Jaren is. You would really, really, really be surprised. So it's not surprising that they agreed on lots of stuff.
Well, yeah, they did. They agreed. Yeah, I noticed that. It was a very comfortable thing for them, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I want to have a conversation with him about education and, you know, what we are taught, where we gain. Because a lot of this is, I've considered, right, the main growth within my knowledge has occurred since Fight the Flat Earth called me a child abuser. Because I really had to question, right, why I knew level was horizontal and how I knew it. Because it was just taught to me. But I've since found a method for that I can find proofs. So I can work things out for myself now. I have
Yeah,
I have that ability. I didn't have that before.
Well, that's kind of a really great aspect of this whole thing is that it requires you to think about some of this stuff. Um, it requires you to think, you know. I know your name, Bev. Try thinking, but like when you hear some of this stuff and you encounter these things in these conversations, it really requires you to reflect on what the hell is going on. And I think it's all for the best, personally, because I've really had to think about some shit too. And I've discovered a lot. And anybody who's been in here for as long as we have would be a liar to say that they didn't learn something. So, yeah, no, yeah,
That's worth
absolutely.
having those discussions, right? If you ever do have
100%.
people to come round, right? Think about that. Because if you're going to bring new people into this, it has to be known that it's not just shit shows and all of that sort of stuff, right?
You can find something. Yeah.
There is something for you to know, right? That you can gain even from these shit show things. There's always something that you can gain from this. You can learn how to communicate with people. One of the main things I learned is that the moment you bring up a model, you've lost the conversation. So you've got to be able to have these conversations and not trigger anyone. Right? You've got to try and have the reality conversation and keep away from the trigger points.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you're not trying to. Whenever somebody says, "Here's how I understand it," it's like, well, it's gonna be difficult for me to talk to you any other way. Like, if you come in with an understanding, as you say, it's like an affliction. It's like you have one understanding, and if I talk to you about anything other than that one understanding, you're just it's hard for me to get through to you in these ways. So, but you know, call it flat earth, call it whatever. This conversation is one of those ways where you can talk about things in another way instead of what you've been told. Instead of like your understanding, there's another way of understanding, you know. So I very much enjoy this conversation in that sense. So, but these guys, they have one understanding. Some of them, they cannot understand anything you're saying.
Well, we have this. I don't know. Have you heard of Beddy? He came in as a logician, right, to try and obviously upset. These guys are upset at what we do, talking about logic and argumentation and all that sort of stuff. So he came in and he's talking to us and he's telling a story. We've developed this into a thing called Beddy's side rule, right? And it goes like this: he's at a football match with his friends, and obviously they're watching the football match, and one of his friends goes like, well done. You know, that was, you know, he applauds the opposite team. Right? And one of his other friends smacks him in the face for doing that, right? So the lesson learned is you do not cheer the other team. Never. Right? Now, if you come into a conversation and you've already set this side rule, we call it Beddy's side rule, you are never going to agree with the person you're talking to. You've already put yourself in opposition. And that isn't going to ever provide any structured conversation. And that's what we're dealing with in this arena. Like Laurie came in and Chaiki, they're on the opposite side to me. So it's not a conversation about anything that can ever be learned or gained from each other. They've put themselves in a different side. And I don't ever try and put myself on a different side to anyone, because I think we're all individuals. So you just try and communicate as best you can every time you're talking to anyone. So try and keep away from Beddy's side rule, imagining that the other person you're talking to is on a different side. Because people do that, don't they? They jump on that sort of idea that somebody else has said something else that's different than what you say. It's expressed quite easily by watching any Nathan Oakley or QE thing at the minute. Like QE's all upset that somebody said something that's different than what he says, so they're on a different side, and you know, everybody's got to team up with them or that, and you've got to be on these different sides. Whereas there's no point. I mean, I'm not even on the flat Earth or the globe Earth side, but I can talk to anyone.
I do think like if you mention Nathan or QE, I think these guys are actually, they're formatted in a way that they have an understanding about something and they got an angle. You know what I mean? They have an angle. So it's like where they're coming from, they kind of tell you where they're coming from in a lot of their stuff. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're pretty precise about where they're coming from.
Have you ever been reprimanded? You ever been
well,
called
you
in?
know, here's the thing. Here's what's weird, and maybe this should. Hey, whoever's recording this, Hammer, Bakafon, Bev, whoever's recording this, just maybe we should do some editing here, guys. But yeah, no, Nathan has accused me of things publicly, and I think, you know, there's a lot of repercussions potentially for some of those things. But yeah, no, absolutely, I understand a lot of this stuff, but I do think there is a really cool aspect to this conversation. So I like to keep it on the topics.
Well, I mean, if that's what we're about communication, then I don't mind saying that Nathan Oakley shuts down conversation in many different ways.
Well, it's like he could absolutely do way better. You know what I mean? It's like he could do so much better. It's like ridiculous. It's like almost like he gets in his own way. I feel like it's weird. It's like, what are you doing? Like, what do you think? Like, you don't think he could be like if you have a voice like that and you have such an influence over people, why not just do better? You know, like why would you just? You have such a group of people who are out here with you, Bev, yourself, a lot of really like intelligent people. Wits it, say what you want. A lot of these guys are really full of really creative ideas and understandings, and it's like, why don't you use that? Okay, for your advantage. Why would you come at anybody? I don't understand that personally.
Well, Jaron had a good point, right? He said Nathan Oakley is in the arena. He wants to build his audience or whatever, and can't say any different than Dave Weiss has an app. Right now, for you to get your name on that app will definitely bring people to your audience. But Nathan Oakley, I can't understand why he doesn't want to be at least amicable with Dave Weiss. I mean, they've got the same thing. They're after the same thing. Flat Earth debate, Flat Earth Dave. Like, what's the difference? Why does one have to argue with the other? I know I've had a word with Dave Weiss. He doesn't give a shit about Nathan Oakley. He literally doesn't care. But Nathan Oakley has to go against him completely.
This might be interesting, Bev. I'm not sure if you heard this, but it's publicly known, according to Mr. Whitsitt. According to Mr. Whitsitt, there's an NDA, like a non-disclosure agreement or something, that there's like about 1,500 flat earthers people, according to Whitsitt, that have all been a part of this. They're affiliated in some sort of agreement or something, compact, some sort of pact they have legally. I think David Weiss and Whitsitt have both signed this agreement. There's some sort of, I don't understand it, but I don't know if Nathan is a part of that. I don't know if QE, but dude, it's weird. If you ever get a chance, I'm not saying we need to even bother with this, but Whitsitt said one time in one of his debates, he's like, I can prove it. I'm a part of an NDA contracted agreement clause of like 1,200 flat. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know. I don't think Nathan is a part of that. I don't know what that is.
I'm definitely not part of that.
I'm not a part of that. I don't know what they're on.
I don't have to abide by any NDA. I can say
I
whatever
kind of want to
I
ask
want.
him about that. I want to get it. I want to talk with him about
I
that.
can't see what it would be, right?
Well, they get into these, Bev, they get into these Netflix things. You know what I mean?
Well,
like Jaren, I think Jaren's a part of it. He's affiliated with Netflix and these industry things.
Oh, what did Dan the Waterman and thingy there?
Yeah, like what is that? Like that Dan the Waterman on. Maybe we shouldn't be recording this. Anyways, Bev, if we want to end it here, we can talk. But I don't know if everybody needs to hear this.
Yeah, it's been a good conversation, guys.
It has been.
Yeah, if you want to end it,
have enjoyed it.
Up with me.
Maybe we could edit some of this stuff. I don't know if everybody needs to know all this.
Well, yeah, we'll
If
do
you
this
want-
sort
yeah,
of
I can
stuff again.
cut
We
out.
can go into.
I
we can
appreciate
set
that,
it up
Bev. It
for a
was
deeper
nice
one,
talking
right?
with you,
We'll
brother.
go deep dive next time.
That was
Definitely,
very
yeah.
clarifying. I appreciated that. Thank you.
And hopefully FTFE, Apocryphon, you heard it. We need to set up a FTFE conversation, or hopefully we get Flatsoid back in here at a better time for him.
If they want to
with the whole
talk for
power
real.
schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone. I'll have a conversation with anybody about proof, knowledge, education, and what you've actually gained from this arena. Let's get more people into the conversation.
That's awesome.
Let them know that, people talking shit about you doesn't really matter. It's about these conversations more than what other people say about, because people are going to talk shit about everything that anybody says.
It's usually a good thing if they're talking shit.
Yeah, they're gonna
about
talk
it.
shit about us, Bev.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry about Nathan Oakley picking a
Us,
video out and talking shit about us.
That's it's good actually. That's promotion. It's
Yeah.
promoting us. So I'm all about it at this point.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And people like it's, it's people's opinions. I like the state of mind you're talking about there. Just trying to get people developing the conversation, moving past the whole, stupidness, the name calling, all that, and bringing new people into the conversation and really, hopefully, getting a better conversation going. You know what I mean? Not that we haven't learned a lot, but a more coherent conversation, right?
Yeah,
Because a lot
more
of times, a lot of the
productive,
point,
right?
yep, Yep, exactly.
The way I like to look at it is a positive. Like, let's have more positive conversations rather than these negative ones that are always trying to put people down or saying what's wrong with things and what people shouldn't say. Let's get on the positive side of things.
Yeah, we got people so afraid of being wrong about things, right? But being wrong is like a natural way of how to learn, right? So if you're afraid of being wrong, you're never going to learn anything. You're never going to progress. So we need to move past that.
A lot of people do this. They try and say that I'm telling people they're wrong. I'm not. Anybody
I
can
get
have
that a lot
whatever
too, I'll be
opinions
honest
they
with you.
want, right? You're just saying things, and people can disagree. They can agree. They can, communicate their disagreement with you. And there's nobody telling other people that they're not. Well, QE does, and other people do, but I mean, I don't personally do that. I'm after the conversation.
Yeah, I've caught myself at times kind of taking that stance, and I've had to definitely back off of it because there are people that are just, they just genuinely believe it. It's their opinion or whatever.
Yeah, there's people that want to antagonize you with saying certain things to get you angry, shouting.
Right.
And that's not productive at all. Like I could say, the further you can keep away from Betty's side rule, and the further you can keep away from these trigger points about models, the more productive the conversation will be. I think that's what everybody's wanting, right? It's about time some new people started coming in here. Like, I don't know whether you guys have seen Twitter's opened up. Have you seen that? They've opened up a chat part of it, voice thing. So there's spaces, they call them, where people are getting conversations going. Pretty much like this. But I mean, there's full on flat earth conversations, and they're 2016 from what we've been talking about. So it's there is more of this sort of on Twitter.
Well, it's like when it first started on YouTube, basically.
I think
conversations.
So, yeah. Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, well,
it does seem like there's a younger generation, or the younger folks are definitely coming in.
But they're using the same sort of videos that we've all seen. All of these, the ones that they just post as rebuttals, the ones that everybody's normally been over, they're still on those sort of things. And I don't know. People need to be told that, not told, they need to be able to hear that conversations aren't always shit shows. There are positive conversations that people can have within this arena that could forewarn them about the types of scenarios that they may get into.
It's well stated. And hopefully we can provide that, or hopefully more people will come out and that want to see that, cultivate that, because the shit shows, like you said, they haven't really gotten us anywhere.
I'm done with them. Like I'd say, my training part for me, I came into this as just a regular person. And now I've learned how to do video editing, live streaming. I've learned rhetoric. I've learned some arguments, and it's definitely time for me to start progressing on forwards. And I'm gonna have to leave this, not say this, but that argument with Chaiki and Laurie and all of that sort of stuff. That's been done, and there's no progress in any of that. So the progress has to come through conversation with people, positive. Obviously, that's not going to happen with people like Nathan Oakley or Jared.
Yeah, like you said, well, that's why they all left. The the conversation, like you said, down here in the peanut gallery or whatever they want to call it in Discord, where we all hang out. Mostly, you know, you don't find a lot of them there. You know, Mark Sargent, Dave Weiss, Jaren. They're
Because
not
they
really
don't
there.
get it. They're doing a different thing. And that's fine. Dave Weiss is the ideal person to do what he does. I don't think anyone could do it any better.
I mean, yeah. I think they were at some point.
But what you've got to watch out for is, right, if Dave Weiss brings people into this arena, who's he going to bring it into, right? What's he bringing people into?
Yeah, they don't want to get into this.
You don't want to get into the being called a child abuser for saying levels horizontal. You don't want to bring in people into this arena where they'll go after their jobs or whatever. You don't want people to be coming into something where they're not aware of the repercussions of saying certain things. The only way you get to hear about it is through conversations like this, right?
It's the most dangerous, benign conversation ever. Because they say it doesn't matter. It doesn't even affect anybody. But then at the same time, if you're trying to enter it, like you said, you could threaten, your life could be threatened if you say the wrong thing.
Well, that's fine. But I think the main thing is that you're dealing with people who hold contradictions. Internally, they've incorporated those contradictions into their mind, and they're broken. You shouldn't really engage in any way, because they'll take anything you say badly. That's what people need to be warned about, and the consequences of what can happen to the mind once you start messing about with it.
Oh yeah, it's a rabbit hole for sure, because they can twist words around real quick on what you're saying. But I do appreciate it, Bev. Sin Cleanser, are you still there? Did we lose you? I gotta turn in for the evening. I do appreciate it, man. Hopefully we can have you back here another time. I'm sorry, Apocryphon's microphone setup, whatever the heck's going on, can't really interact with you over here. Oh, we got somebody that wants to join. Let's see if Lalo's got something for us. I'll invite him up here. What's up, Lalo? Mic check, Lalo. Where you at, brother? Wrapping it up, the show here. You want to get something in real quick?
Seems like, is that Discord with the stage thing that's causing people to have these mic problems?
I tell you, there's been some weird stuff. They mentioned the iPhone thing, and I know on my iPhone for a little while now, at least like a week or two, I don't know, the screen on the voice channel it does not stay correct on my screen. Like it blows out of proportion. So
there you go.
There he is.
Is that an in and out thing? Nice.
Well, like I said, I like the way you guys put it. That sometimes it is the message to bring more of the conversation, and sometimes we do get lost with the whole financial system, because sometimes it is kind of like a financial gain through speaking the truth, because it takes a little resources. And I think I think that they got me to get into this whole discourse that was David Weiss, but to speak the conversation. But when you start looking in more into his life, yes, it kind of like, okay, what's going on with you talk about the truth, but you got some, like, everyone has secrets, right? And you're like, but this credits the stuff that you kind of do. What are you really doing for? But in a way, I like the way you.
Might be losing you there at the end. See, hopefully he comes back. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I've got Eric right here's from my YouTube. He says, there's not that many people that get into the topic in the first place, right? And out of that small number, how many of them do you think stick around when they hear what a shit show it is?
Well, see, that's where I think it's designed like that. Like you, I think like you're pointing out a little bit. There's people that kind of are on our side, or they say they're on our side that may not really be on our side, right? I think the
You've got to stop the
preferred name
side
is
bit.
controlled opposition, right? Yeah, I know it's not. Yeah, the side Betty side thing, right? I try not to do that. I get it.
I know
But
better than anyone. There's infiltrators all over the place, but you can't start thinking that somebody might not be on your side, right? Infiltrating or whatever. You've just got to go for every conversation and try and get the positive out of it. The negativeness will weed itself out, I think, if we start getting more positive and try and looking at that, because there's no way in these last few years that new people have come around. They just haven't. Well, they have for us. We do have
that's
some
what
fucking amazing conversations with the people that I have.
Right.
You know, but they're not. There isn't many of them, and
That's
it
where I
takes
think
a
he's
long
wrong.
time for them to get in there.
Right. That's where I think he's wrong about it. This conversation doesn't reach a lot of people. I think pretty much everybody is aware of this conversation happening, at least on some sort of level, cursory or whatever. And like you said, the shit show or, whatever, by design, they come in and out of it very quickly, right? Because most people's attention spans or whatever, their life, right? They're busy with other things. And so they don't have a lot of time to pay attention to it.
Well, kind of irony as well, right? They have the to watch, like you said, even though they have the attention span of 1 minute, right, of TikTok and all these little videos, but they will be there for 3 or 4 hours on their phone watching this 1 minute videos. That's kind of like, but you have the time, but you don't have the attention span to keep these conversations going or these videos going to understand the breakdown. It's like some people don't like to read the manual or to investigate it more, but they will believe a 1 minute video and keep going and keep going.
From my experience, there's people that come in and it takes a while. They have to sit around. They don't normally just come in and start talking. They have to sit around and listen to the conversation and then feel more at ease, and then they can start talking. And normally then the conversations are good, right? But if you have a channel where there's just shit shows, those people that come round and want to sit and listen to conversations, well, they don't want to listen to shit shows, and they'll never open their mics to get involved in a shit show. The people that will want to get involved in the shit show, they're not really the sort of people that you want to have. They're not the most productive conversations. The better conversations are the natural conversations with normal people.
This reminds me sometimes. I think I've seen a video in it, and it makes sense because it goes with the gossip and stuff like that. That supposedly when the video makes you angry, you want to spread that video that made you angry to somebody else, and if that person gets angry too of seeing that video, we'll spread it to someone else, and this anger will keep going up. But if this video kind of like, oh, this video made me feel good, oh, it made me understand this whatever concept better, I just keep it to myself. Or then I give it to somebody else, but they can't understand it, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why'd you send me this video? What are you trying to say? But anger does spread faster, like gossip, shit shows. like Jerry Springer or some other stuff, it does spread. I don't know. It's like it's mind-boggling. Like people love this drama stuff. Even the genre drama. It's like the number one thing. People eat that shit up. And
Yeah.
of course you're saying yes, it's not productive. It just creates more drama. It creates more anger. Of course we don't want to, but I don't know, it does spread. I don't know why it triggers people to react. And there was a scene that I do like. It's an anime scene, and it says to know people, try to find out what angers them, and what angers them, then try to find like a solution through that anger they have. And I'm like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Find what angers them.
Yeah, I seem to anger a lot of people. It's normally me.
They're angry at you with things you say.
Yeah. Yeah, I've developed a method of finding people, because I think if you can find somebody who holds a contradiction, you know that it's not really worth talking to them. So the method I've developed is to find a contradiction that people might hold, and then show them it and see how they react. I think I've got quite good at doing it.
What's the most common one? Contradiction.
The most common contradiction that people have is the north, south, east, and west perpendicular. It's the easiest one to do because it's within the trick, with the angle, and it gets to the heart of the mathematical problem, and that is to show people that north, south, east, and west on a compass are quadrants, right angles, right? North, south, east, and west. They're perpendicular. Yet people will want to either curve one or two of those lines, which is a contradiction. You can't have perpendicular with either of the lines being circles. Normally for the model afflicted, but for people that are out there in the real world, they won't try and curve either of the lines because they're not aware of any models. They're just living their reality, knowing that north, south, east, and west are perpendicular. Yet people in this arena will try and justify that contradiction, and that to me means it's not really worth talking to them, because they're just going to be telling you what their model dictates, the dogma that goes along with their model that they've learned in these chat rooms.
So sometimes the dogma within people that hold them back.
Yeah, we have a thing called epoche, right? It's one of these old ancient words, and it's the state that you want to be in to reach ataraxia, right? And ataraxia is supposedly the state that you want to be in if you're going into war, into battle. You want to be at comfort and at ease with yourself, knowing that you're okay. Doing whatever, and it means that you just drop all dogma. Anything that's dogmatic, just place it in the place that you can't know it, so you don't have to know it. You only have to know the things that you can know.
That's why there's a good leader will inspire them to go into their death, to the unknown. Words, funny, use words to put these people into that mindset, like a spell or something.
Well, no, it's just releasing dogma. Nobody tells you that you have to accept this contradiction, right? The moment somebody says that the thing that you're living on has a radius, well, How do you know? That's dogma. Somebody's just give you a number. Shadow Giant as casting shadows on the wall in the cave. And you're just like remembering these shadows. It's not real. They're just telling you that. So that's dogma.
Hey, babe. Just real quick, I know Hammer's got to go. Thank you for the extra 20 minutes, though, of after saying that the show was going to end. Definitely, I look forward to when you come back. Thank you to those who stepped up, asked questions. For those listening on YouTube and the different channels that they were listening in, please follow, like, and share. Your sub, it's all free. Don't worry about it. It's the free things you can help out with. But we look forward to you coming back, Bev, to the asylum. And thank you for your time, man. I know it's late over there. It's like what, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. So
yeah.
I appreciate it. We look forward to you coming back. And Flatzoid, he is going to check if that will work Saturday.
I can't say next. I don't know next Saturday. It's UFC. It's normally on late. Like I've been normally be up at this sort of time watching the UFC.
Yeah, he said 11 o'clock. He's going to try to make it that for you. You know, he'll try to do the.
But like I say, I don't know when the UFC starts next week on Saturday. Saturday's
well, they don't go later than 11 o'clock at night, do they?
Of course they do. Yeah, they're all over the world. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. They go past 11 o'clock. Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. Nonetheless, Flatzoid definitely wants to have that discussion with you. So it's all good. But I got to go as well. Thank you guys for the show. And we'll talk to you soon. And you guys have a good one, man. Take it easy. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. I'll
all right,
sign off as well.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot. And to everybody that was listening again, thank you guys. I'll catch you later tonight in the asylum in the Discord. If you guys want to hang out, chat some more. I don't know what happened to Sin. I know Hammer, he's probably getting the kids to bed. So yeah, you guys have a good one. Until next time. Thank you again, those on YouTube. We'll see you again. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Later, guys. Thank you, everybody.
See you later.
See you soon.
Okay, thank you very much for watching. That was a bit of an impromptu one. Was meant to be a debate with Flatside. Never be a debate. 3 a.m. start, is it? For the UK? Holy shit. 3 a.m. start? Wow. Well, it doesn't look like we'll be doing that then. Oh, yeah, actually, I could do that first then. Is that with the prelims as well, Mike? Because we got
That's pretty good.
Early prelims. Yeah, we're still live.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. We'll be back. We'll be doing loads more of this sort of stuff. Anyone, pop on into the Discord. That's where it's all going on the level. Or the asylum. Get over there to whatever. It doesn't really matter. Join the conversation. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.